on the 4th of July, it's a beautiful day for baseball. And live from Coors Field in Denver, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies in the second game of this 4-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, and Nomar Garciaparra. After Zach Greinke won his 11th game of the season last night, matching only Adam Wainwright, most wins in the National League, the Dodger starters now have the best record in baseball, 43-23, the lowest ERA at 3.00, and oh, by the way, a fellow named Clayton Kershaw is going this afternoon.
You know, and Clayton Kershaw continues to spoil us like this rotation, and when he goes, it's time for this team to get on a roll. He has been absolutely dominant on a roll himself. This June, the National League Pitcher of the Month. The statistics speak for themselves, but what I appreciate most about Clayton Kershaw is his work ethic. He continues to raise the bar for himself. There is no past. There is only future perfect tense for Clayton Kershaw because he expects to win every game and to get everybody out.
Oral on Clayton as the pitcher. Now Nomar on Clayton facing him as a hitter.
Well, as a hitter, I take it scientifically. It'd just be not fun because he has so many weapons to get you out. You have to be aware for his fastball, first and foremost, where he can throw in all 4 quadrants, up and in, up and away, down and in, down and away. And then after the fastball you have to worry about, the curveball's coming. It has such a big break out of his hand. And then he added the devastating slider that looks like a fastball coming out of his hand, stays on the same plane, and then the bottom just drops out of it. Really no formula how to approach Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw faces Jair Jurgens this afternoon in Game 2 of this 4-game series. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Alana Rizzo will join us and the lineups in first pitch. Dodgers and Rockies in Game 2 of this 4-game series coming up.
Time to take it seriously. And there is one out to go. One miserable, measly out. And now one strike away. Hang in there, Ellen. Hang in there. 0-2. Got it. He's done it. Clayton Kershaw pitches a no-hitter, a career-high 15 strikeouts. big moment in a young life.
How fitting that number 22 would throw the 22nd no-hitter in Dodgers history as he gets ready to take on the same team that he no-hit in the Colorado Rockies. Hello, everybody. I'm Alana Rizzo. I want to talk about the scoreless innings streak. Of course, Clayton Kershaw will take the mound tonight with 28 consecutive innings in which he did not allow a run. So how does that fare as far as Dodgers history is concerned? Let's take a look back. Longest scoreless inning streaks in history. Orel Hershiser, 59 innings. That is the record for the franchise back in 1988. Don Drysdale, 58 innings in 1968. 1962, he won the Cy Young. Don Sutton, 35 innings, the four-time All-Star. Fernando Valenzuela, 1981, the same year he was Rookie of the Year and won the Cy Young. And, of course, Clayton Kershaw, 28 innings in 2014, going for his 10th win of the season tonight. Dodgers and Rockies fans all fired up on the 4th of July. It is Independence Day. It is Game 2. After the break, Charlie Steiner, Orel Hershiser, and Nomar Garciaparra on the call. Happy birthday, America.
Stars and Stripes. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Is clear. There's still some cloudy skies, as you see. Jair Jurgens, at the ripe old age of 28, making his first big league start, just acquired by the Rockies the other day, and he is now the 13th different starter for manager Walt Weiss. The rock slide continues here in Denver. The Rockies have lost 8 of 10, 15 of their last 17. The Dodgers, on the other hand, winners of 14 of their last 20. That's the best record over the last 20 games in the National League. Only the Tigers can boast the same record that Mattingly's club can. And here's the lineup that Don Mattingly has put together for the 4th of July with Gordon and Puig and Hanley Ramirez. Adrian Gonzalez, Scott Van Slyke, and Andre Ethier. Uribe, 3 hits and the game-winning RBI last night, has enjoyed Coors Field. A.J. Ellis, Clayton Kershaw pitching and batting 9th. And here's 28-year-old Jair Jurgens making his first start in the big leagues this year.
And he only pitched 2 big league games last year for the Baltimore Orioles. His last big league success was back in 2011. And he comes at you with a fastball that hovers around 90 miles an hour, a slider, and a really good changeup.
When he first came up, they thought he was going to be the next big thing.
He had an outstanding fastball, 91 and 93, with exceptional location and a great changeup, but some injuries to his right knee and his shoulder have slowed him down.
Now D. Gordon leads it off and takes a strike. It's 0-1. 71 degrees at game time, partly cloudy skies. There's about a 1 in 3 chance of another passing shower. At this time of year in Denver, they're used to it. Gordon and Puig and Ramirez leading it off. Giants are trailing in San Diego 2-0. The Padres heading in the bottom of the 6th, and Gordon is aboard with a base hit. That didn't take long, did it?
He has really perfected that drag bunt where he pushes it towards third base, and the angle is base hit or foul. That's what D is trying to do. Make the right distance, but the angle is about, if it make a bad bunt, I'm going to make sure it's foul because that's only a strike and I still get the hit.
So Gordon always a threat to steal. He's got 40 of them, the most in the major leagues, and he really has mastered the art of deception.
I mean, the confidence he has now, even with a third baseman playing in and on the grass, and a great third baseman at that in Arenado.
Puig takes a strike.
To not be afraid and bunt it that way, confidence in your touch and your placement.
You can run on Michael McHenry, the catcher. He's only thrown out 1 of 16 this year. Let's see how long it takes for Gordon to take off. Not yet. Puig is the 9th leading hitter in the National League at 309. 11 home runs and 46 runs batted in.
In 2 pitches, I like his stance and his approach at the plate already. He looks a lot calmer in the box. He's been jumpy for me in the last week or so, especially a lot of the movements in his upper body.
Ramirez on deck, the outfield straightaway. The second baseman LeMahieu shaded toward second base, expecting perhaps Gordon to go, and so is Jurgen, so he throws over to first. At a sold-out house last night and a big fireworks show after the game. They're expecting more of the same tonight. Dodgers 7-3 against the Rockies this year, 3-1 here at Coors Field. Puig with a shot to center, well hit. Stubbs going back. He's not going to get it. Neither's anybody else. Yasiel Puig, his first home run since May the 28th, and just like that, the Dodgers have a 2-0 lead. That sounded like a cannon shot.
Well, Oral, you talked about that upper body. That front shoulder did not fly open. He's been lately in a kind of a bit of a slump with that front shoulder flying open, pulling off the balls. That one stayed on the ball and drove it dead center. Perfect swing.
Big shot, tiny bubbles, 2-0 Dodgers, and here's Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez at 269, 11 home runs and 46 runs batted in. Takes a strike and it's 0-1. Ramirez last night 0 for 2 and a couple of walks. So the Dodgers draw first blood. And Ramirez smacks a line drive to left. And that's over the head of Blackman. That'll go to the wall. Jair Jurgens is wondering, I came up for this? A bunt and 2 blasts. A 2-run shot for Puig and a double for Ramirez.
Well, not only was this a rocket off of Hanley Ramirez's bat, but you know, he's been nursing a calf injury, but the injury looks to be well healed because right out of the box he was hustling. He knew he hit this one hard, and it bounces off the wall, and he knew he had to hustle to turn this into a double. And here's exactly what I'm talking about. He goes sprinting. He's looking at the ball. Now he's being able to take into that next gear, and that's always a good sign when you're dealing with an injury, calf, hamstring, quad, whatever it may be, for the muscle, to be able to turn it into that next gear and have confidence in doing that.
3 batters, 3 hits, 2 runs, and Gonzalez coming up. Adrian at 256, 14 home runs and 53 runs batted in. First ball swinging, fouls it, and slices out of play, and it's 0-1. Dodgers this year, when they score first, are 39-13. Rockies, when the other guys score first, are 12 and 38. Dodgers 10 over 500. The Rockies 14 under 500. The 0-1 to Gonzalez. Pops it into short center field. The shortstop, Rutledge, retreating, making the catch. Tulowitzki not in the lineup tonight. Tweaked his groin muscle last night trying to beat out an infield hit, which he did. So tonight he is relegated to sitting and watching.
Yeah, Troy Tulowitzki, you're there watching Yasiel Puig hit that home run, and he's deciding on who will be in the home run hitting contest for the National League. And I know he's been getting a lot of text messages and emails and phone calls from people around the National League recruiting themselves and recruiting their teammates. And he says Yasiel is near the top of his list, but he can't announce yet who he's going to have in the contest.
Well, he's already said Stanton is on his team. So one is in. The other's TBD.
Why Stanton?
Oh, let us count the ways.
He's stepping out on a limb there as far as thinking about the power.
That's what I was wondering.
21 home runs, 61 RBIs.
And just
for openers.
Yeah.
He has a bye into the contest.
I'm sure.
Omar's been watching too much soccer.
Yeah.
Take a look at the defense for the Rockies playing behind Jurgens tonight. As we mentioned, Rutledge is at shortstop with Tulowitzki out. Arenado back, second game off the DL. LeMahieu at second, Borneau at first. Blackman, Stubbs, and Barnes in the outfield. Barnes from Anaheim, Michael McHenry behind the plate. And Jair Jurgens is getting beaten about the head already here in the first inning. Van Slyke checks his swing according to first base umpire. Rookie vacation reliever Pat Hobert. 2-0. Ethier on deck. Ethier on deck. Uribe to follow. 2 runs, 3 hits already for the Dodgers. Van Slyke swings and misses. They're in the bottom of the 6th in San Diego, and the Padres lead the Giants 2-0. Giants just finished a homestand, a 10-game homestand. They went 2-8. They've lost 14 of their last 17 at home. So they're happy to be on the road, not doing too well in San Diego. 2-2 to Van Slyke.
Scotty Van Slyke getting a rare opportunity to start against a right-hander. And hitting righties quite well, but not usually in starting positions, where he starts against a lefty and then a right-handed reliever comes in. He stays in the game and has been getting some knocks against righties.
And Kemp with the day off. Van Slyke, 281 against left-handed pitching, 240 against righties. Overall, 262. And it's 2-2 with 1 man out. 3-2 to Scott Van Slyke. Van Slyke has nearly as many walks as he has hits. 28 base hits, 24 walks. And that translates into a .410 on base percentage, which is the highest on the team. But he's down on strikes, second out of the first.
Well, a couple of unproductive at-bats with Adrian Gonzalez. Hanley Ramirez out there on second with no outs, doesn't get him over, and then Scott Van Slyke striking out. Hanley stranded so far under Ethier trying to pick him up.
Ethier with 4 home runs, 33 runs batted in. Of course, Clayton Kershaw will be making his 13th start of the year at the completion of this half inning. And a strike. 0-1 to Andre Ethier. Ethier, of course, has been historically a better hitter against right-handed pitching than he has against left. Ethier 260 this year against righties. 211 against lefties. Ramirez leads from second. 0-2 to Andre Ethier with Uribe on deck.
Andre Ethier with his family here in town. He and Scott Van Slyke, the little ones, running around downtown after lunch today, getting excited about being in the family section tonight and staying for the fireworks.
And equally excited to face Jurgens, against whom he's hit over 400. Trying to apply some fireworks of his own.
The fireworks always looked a lot prettier after a win.
And sitting out there on the grass, you won the game, and you're like, they're going off above you.
Mamas bring the blankets, and you go out there and lay down and sit there with your kids, and hopefully you got a couple hits or threw a good game.
On 1-2, it's just a lot of noise after a loss.
Yeah, it is.
After a loss, it was hard to convince the family that, no, I just want to go home right now and beat the traffic.
Ready for a big night tonight. And the Dodgers lead 2-0 on the Puig home run here in the first. Three and 2, and Uribe with the big night last night, and great career numbers against the Rockies over the past couple of years awaits. So he'd like to get a crack at it with a run or two on board.
Some years I convinced the family that we would go out to the car and drive out on one of the arteries leaving Dodger Stadium and park there, and then we'd watch the fireworks display. Then we'd be out in front of the traffic.
On 3-2. Lined into left center field, and that is going to drop in for a base hit, and that's going to roll to the wall. Ethier's on his way to second. Ethier's on his way to third. Here's the throw, not in time. Andre Ethier with a triple to left center, scoring Hanley Ramirez, and the Dodgers have a 3-0 lead. That was a Coors Field triple.
Yeah, we've been talking about that at Coors Field, those big gaps and how much room the outfielders have to cover. But I'll tell you what this was. This is a big 2-out RBI hit for Andre Ethier, picking up his teammates. Or you mentioned about them not being able to get the job done, move Hanley Ramirez over to third base. And it's always nice when you have somebody behind you picking you up, driving it in the gap, and now he's sitting over there just 90 feet away in scoring position.
So this was not the return to the major leagues that Jair Jurgens had envisioned. Uribe with Ethier leading off third. And it's 0-1. For Ethier, that was his 4th triple and his 34th run batted in.
I think this is big for the Dodgers right now to just keep adding on. Well, I had talked about before the game, Dodgers may have an opportunity to get to Jurgens early to get to that bullpen and also set up the next 2 games versus the Colorado Rockies and tire out that bullpen.
Yep.
Dodgers here in the first inning have hit for the cycle. Gordon, the bunt base hit. Ramirez a double, Ethier the triple, and Puig the 2-run home run.
Never helps your team when you beat up a starter on the very last game of a series.
Right.
And the next team coming in gets the benefit of you wearing out a bullpen. But when you're in a 4-game series like this one and you got Clayton Kershaw on the mound, you had a nice outing from Zach Greinke, only had to use Kenley Jansen last night. Got to their closer, the Troy Hawkins. If you can knock Jurgens out early and get into that pen, you've got 2 more games where the Rockies are going to have to paste it together.
So Kershaw's already got 3 runs to work with, and he hasn't given up a run in more than a month. Down goes Uribe, but not before the Dodgers hit for the cycle in the first. Yasiel Puig with a crackling shot straight away, center field, 400 and something feet. And the Dodgers have a 3-0 lead with Kershaw coming out already 3 runs in a hole. They've lost 8 of 10, 15 of their last 17. And the lineup he features tonight is without his best player, Troy Tulowitzki, out with a pulled groin, may not be available tomorrow either. They don't know. But in the meantime, it's going to be Justin Morneau who's going to have to carry the weight. He's got a 9-game hitting streak, hitting pretty near 500 during that period of time. Blackman and Rutledge and Arenado back in his second game. Then Morneau, Stubbs, and McHenry. Brandon Barnes, the Orange County kid, DJ LeMahieu, Jair Jurgens, and a fellow named Kershaw is going for the Dodgers tonight.
Well, Clayton Kershaw, we've talked enough about public enemy number 1, the curveball, the slider, how it's been so hot. But the biggest change for me in looking at all the statistics is how many ground balls he's getting. He was 86th of 145 qualifiers last year of getting ground balls. He is second in the big leagues right now in ground ball percentage of anybody that has over 70 innings.
Last time he gave up a run was here in Colorado. And it was a solo home run to Troy Tulowitzki in that 5-inning rain-shortened complete game tossed by Kershaw. 28 straight scoreless innings. Charlie Blackman testing the game's best pitcher. That is a ball inside and high. 1 ball, no strikes. Blackman at 296 with a dozen home runs and 46 runs batted in. Rutledge and Arenado to follow. So here is Kershaw. In his last 4 starts, he's lowered his earned run average by more than a run, from 3.17 to where it is now at 204. Blackman got off to a great April and May, but he has slacked off since as he fouls it back. Through May, he was hitting 317. Since the 1st of June, he's about 260.
It seemed like early in the year, boy, he was hitting everything. Anytime you made one mistake on him, or even if you made a good pitch, he was barreling it up.
Well, last night, after Greinke's terrific performance, won 8 innings, struck out 8, walked 2. That made it 37 consecutive games in which the Dodgers have surrendered no more than 2 walks. Now, spacing that out, trying to put it into perspective after Kershaw delivers the 2-2. Fouled off to the left and out of play. In those 37 consecutive starts, the Dodger starters and the 2 walks or fewer. 239 innings, 227 strikeouts, and 37 walks. A 6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio for basically the last 6 weeks.
That would be something to talk about one individual pitcher, but when a staff can do that, that's absolutely amazing.
The 5-man electrical band. Well, there's the first strikeout of the game for Kershaw. Clayton has struck out at least 9 in 8 of his 12 starts this year.
It's the slider, the white hot slider. It's going to be a little shorter break here in Colorado, but he does a fine job adjusting his sights and keeping that ball down right out of his hand, not expecting a big break, but still got a sharp break.
And if you're Colorado right now, and if you're Blackman coming back into the dugout, and they're saying, well, can you eliminate any pitches? No, he's got the slider working.
Now Rutledge takes a strike. We were having a bite to eat tonight with Ryan Spilborghs, who used to play here in Colorado, and he was from Santa Barbara originally. And the 0-1 was a strike, 0-2, and he was one of the toughest out, 7th inning on, inevitably would come off the bench for the Rockies. And he was talking about when he first faced Kershaw, when Kershaw was a mere 2-pitch pitcher. And there's strike 3, there's 2 strikeouts, la-di-dee, la-di-da. And tell us about the conversation that we were having with Spilborghs and how one day he realized Kershaw did not share the same planet the rest of us.
Yeah, he said, because he used to have a lot of success versus Clayton Kershaw. He said, well, his curveball, he knew he had a big breaking curveball, but oftentimes he wouldn't throw it for strikes. So he says, I can eliminate that. So I could just really sit on his fastball, look for that, and the one I could handle, I would. So he had a lot of success. And he goes, and then one at bat, says, okay, there was a curveball, and then he threw a slider. And he goes, and the slider was to my back foot. And he goes, I'll never hit this guy again. And he used to come in and he'd tell his manager, he goes, what are you putting me out there for? I have no chance, and I'm telling you, neither does the rest of the league have a chance against this guy.
That's why Spielborgs is in our racket now. Arenado, 1 ball, 1 strike. For the Rockies, this is their 87th game, and for Arenado, who has spent time on the disabled list with a broken finger, 2nd game back, but his 51st. And we'll have ample time tonight to talk about Kershaw and how locked in he is, how tunnel visioned he is. Probably at no point in his career quite like this particular streak. Here's a 2-1. And somebody finally made contact. Hanley Ramirez is out, now being called off by Van Slyke. A 1-2-3 inning for Kershaw, who strikes out 2. We'll go to the 2nd with the Dodgers leading 3-0. Late Friday afternoon, July the 4th. And happy birthday, America, and hope you're enjoying this day around the country. A.J. Ellis, Clayton Kershaw, and D. Gordon will bat. A 3-0 lead. Puig, a 2-run home run. A Ramirez double, and a 2-out triple for Andre Ethier against Jair Jurgens, making his first big league start of the year. He's made a couple of appearances last year with Baltimore over in the American League. A.J. Ellis, first ball swinging. Sprinting in from left is Blackman.
Jurgens had his big year, and when he's had success, it's all about location. He doesn't have a tremendous amount of movement on his fastball, but he can really locate it on his good days.
Hasn't had many the past couple of years. When he first came up, they thought he was had a chance to be a big star. Kershaw takes high and outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Clayton is 5 for 25. Jurgens now 28. Just acquired in a minor league transaction from Cincinnati the other day. Spent the season at Louisville. And as poorly as things have gone for the Rockies and their rotation, he's their 13th different starting pitcher this year. Basically, they made a deal. Say, all right, let's try our luck with him.
They are searching, and when you search and you find approximately the same amount of ability, a lot of times you go to guys who have already had success at the big league level because they know the formula and have lived it. You might not see it right now as a scout, but if everybody and everything is equal, a lot of times the guys with resumes get the first crack.
He's made 8 starts in his career against the Dodgers. Kershaw stays alive. So the Rockies continue to struggle. For that matter, so too the Giants. San Diego a 2-0 lead at Petco. And the Padres are hitting in the bottom of the 7th.
There's no get well cards on their way from Los Angeles to San Francisco. We hope they stay struggling.
2-2 to Kershaw. Third strikeout for Jurgens. It's the second out of the second. If the Dodgers win and the Giants lose today, the Dodgers would go a game and a half in front of San Francisco, and that would be their largest lead over the Giants this year. And the Dodgers would go 11 games over 500. But they've got work to do, and Gordon squares to bunt, takes a strike, 0-1. Gordon laid down a perfect bunt up the third baseline to begin the game. Puig, who is on deck, then hit a monstrous home run over the wall in straightaway center.
And we just saw how close Nolan Arenado plays D. Gordon, and I think he might have taken even a half step to a full step closer than he was D's last at bat to really try to take that away.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Tomorrow we'll find out who the All-Star players will officially be. Voting ended last night. It'll be Sunday. For today's Friday. Feels like a Saturday.
Because we're used to the 3-game series, and this is a 4-game series. Yeah.
Plus, you know, everybody's off enjoying the 4th of July, so it also has that weekend feel. So
it'll be Sunday. Here comes the 1-2, and Gordon takes outside and low.
And also during this time of the day, you got the sun out right now, beautiful, and you know the first baseman has to battle that with throws coming across the diamond. So you might see some infielders kind of throw it on a one-hop on purpose to try to help the first baseman out.
Justin Morneau blazoned in the sun, and a ground ball to second base. May you have to hurry the throw from about 15 feet to get Gordon by a foot. Nothing across. The Dodgers go down quietly in the second. Morneau will lead off against Kershaw in the second.
Dodgers already with a 3-0 lead here over the Rockies as we make our way to the bottom of the second inning. A 1-2-3 inning in the first for Clayton Kershaw, and really we can't stop talking about him, and we're running out of adjectives to describe Clayton Kershaw. one of the best pitchers we've ever seen, could be one of the best pitchers ever in the game. Take a look at what he's done. 6-0, sub-1 ERA, 50-plus strikeouts in a calendar month. Of course, we're talking about June of 2014, the month in which he no-hit this very Colorado Rockies team. Justin Verlander back in June of 2011. A couple of other guys have done it as well. Randy Johnson, April of 2000. Then a former Dodger, Hideo Nomo, back in June 1995. Of course, Verlander and Johnson also Cy Young Award winners, guys.
Kershaw, 29 straight scoreless innings after retiring the Rockies in order in the first. And Morneau begins with a strike in the second. Justin Morneau at .318, his 96 base hits ranks him 8th in the league. And Kershaw delivers a foul back and out of play. Nothing in 2 to Morneau with Stubbs and McKendry to follow. Dodgers 3 runs and 4 hits in the first inning. And Kershaw on 0-2. Gordon began the game with a bunt. Puig a home run. Ramirez a double. After Gonzalez and Van Slyke made an out. Ethier a triple to left center. For Puig, his first home run since the end of May. Lined into left field. Van Slyke makes the catch. So Van Slyke, who started in center last night, in left tonight.
Well, Van Slyke does an excellent job here. Gets a good jump on a line drive off the bat, reading it. Both infielders and outfielders, the balls hit right at you are the toughest to judge, and that was hit right at Van Slyke, but he got a good read, good first step, and makes a great play on that ball.
And Brian O'Nora there to watch the play all the way into the glove. Drew Stubbs with 6 home runs and 20 runs batted in. So the Dodgers were kind of making light of it, hit for the cycle in the first inning. Last time they hit for the cycle in an inning against Colorado, July 3rd of last year. So if you believe in horoscopes, next year, Stubbs on 0-1. High and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Stubbs is 3 for 21 against Kershaw, and 9 of those 21 at-bats resulted in a strikeout. And he's on his way to a 10th.
Yeah, right now he's thinking, what ball can I put in play, not how to get a hit almost, just give himself a chance. He's got the wheels, so he probably wants to try and hit the ball on the ground. Clayton gets a lot of ground balls. That's the combination.
Just upstairs. They've gone to the 8th in San Diego. Padres 2-0 over the Giants. Just inside.
It was a really good pitch by Clayton Kershaw right there. As a hitter, tough to lay off of. The only reason I think Stubbs laid off of it was because it started off low. He knew he probably couldn't reach it.
Strikeout number 3. Well, you know, going into that battle, Kershaw strikes out more than anybody, and Stubbs gets struck out more than anybody.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you, I just mentioned the pitch before. You lay off of it, and it falls out of the strike zone, and it started off at the bottom of the zone. So what does Clayton do? He gets that one starting off a little bit higher, more of a strike, and that's why Stubbs going out there and have to swing at it, and you swing right over it.
Well, he's retired 5 in a row. A strike, nothing in 1. So on the year now, Kershaw, 110 strikeouts and 11 walks.
See, that's what makes it tough for Kershaw, because that last at bat, you go, okay, I took a tough pitch, a nasty pitch, 2-2 to make it 3-2. He's going to come at me with a fastball.
Grounded to short. Hanley Ramirez. Well, 6 for 6 for Kershaw. We'll go to the 3rd. Puig and Ramirez and Gonzalez will be coming up. Is May the 28th has given the Dodgers a 3-0 lead. That and a triple by Andre Ethier, looking to make a road trip this summer. Before you do, come on out to Dodger Stadium. In fact, a week from yesterday, July the 10th. Be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance to pick up your Dodger-themed Hello Kitty travel mug. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. And here is Puig in that home run in the third inning. Sounded like a cannon shot. .435 feet later, Puig with his 12th home run of the year has 48 runs batted in. And a 2-out triple by Andre Ethier after Ramirez double has given the Dodgers their 3-run cushion, and that one's well hit down the left field line, but it's going to go foul.
He is auditioning for the home run derby.
Well, his coach is watching and has a front row seat. Troy Tulowitzki, the captain of the National League Home Run Derby team. Do you need any more convincing? Puig has made no secret about the fact he would like to be a part of it, which is kind of refreshing, because in recent years a lot of the sluggers, much like in basketball, they don't want to be in the dunk contest. The sluggers don't want to be in the home run hitting contest.
So much has been made of home run hitters that come into the contest and then enter the contest, do well, but then have terrible second halves of the year, and they think if they lost their swing.
Arenado will throw out Puig.
Nomar, do you think there's any truth to that rumor of a guy doing well in the home running contest then having a terrible second half?
No, this game is so mental, and a lot of times that's what it is. It's if you believe in it and you think it's going to mess you up, then it is. If you don't think it's going to mess you up, then it's not. I participated in a couple of home run hitting contests. I didn't win them or anything or come close, but I never felt like my second half, if I struggled, it was because of that home run hitting contest I was in.
Hanley Ramirez now the hitter, a double and a run scored in his first at bat. He grounds to short, where Josh Rutledge will throw him out in the dirt and dug out nicely by Morneau. 2 out. Remember famously, about 10 years ago, Bobby Abreu just won the home run hitting contest by a gazillion and then did nothing the second half.
And I think it's those times, that's why people start bringing it up, because as an example, as a sample, you're like, see, this is what that contest does to you. And
you don't buy it.
I don't. Like I said, it's really, if you believe it's going to bother you, then it is, and so don't participate. If you don't think it is, then it's not. And I asked Don Mattingly about that as well. Say, if Yasiel is asked, how would you feel? And what do you feel about your guys participating? Do you think it'll mess up his swing? He says, have you watched them take batting practice? It's like a home run derby every time they swing. So he goes, I have no problem with that.
Gonzalez popped to short in his first at bat, and the Rockies have the shift on, and so LeMahieu's in short right. And wouldn't you know it, Gonzalez punctures the shift by going the other way with a 2-out single to left.
A few things are going to happen as he continues to take the ball to left field. That shift is going to be less when the runners are in scoring position. And then even Adrian, when he is hitting with nobody on, he might get to be able to start pulling the ball a little bit more and having some fielders not be there.
For the Dodgers, their 5th hit. Van Slyke struck out at his first at bat. How exhausting during the home run derby is it? You're swinging from your heels every time. I mean, is there a physical taxation?
Yes, it is. It's very taxing. It's very exhausting. It's not like batting practice. That's where I think people miss it. They go, well, you hit so many during batting practice, then how come you've seen you hit more in batting? How come this is more exhausting? Well, in batting practice, there's a rhythm. You hit it. You're not, even sometimes the pitching coach will say, what are you watching the home run for? I'm getting ready to throw you another one. Well, in the home run derby, it's hit it. Let's watch it. Let's admire it. Everybody, they slow you down. And so there is no rhythm to it. So it really wears you out.
Is there an adrenaline factor too?
That's a factor as well. I remember it was I participated one in the offseason. They had the Players Association. They had one in Las Vegas, and I participated in that one. And I remember from my head to my toes aching after that. So it was every muscle in my body just ached after.
Backhanded by Rutledge, and makes a terrific play, robbing Van Slyke of a hit. No runs and 1 hit. Meanwhile, we turn the page and go to the bottom of the third, and Kershaw has struck out 3 of the first 6 batters he's faced so far. Wednesday night at Dodger Stadium, Clayton Kershaw was perfect, if not for an error by Hanley Ramirez in the 7th inning. On that night against the Rockies, he struck out 15 and didn't walk anybody. Well, we're just 2 innings in, but Kershaw to this point has struck out 6. And a diving catch in left field by Scott Van Slyke has kept Kershaw's early journey without peril. Brandon Barnes will lead it off, starting in right field tonight. DJ LeMahieu and then Jair Jurgens. Barnes at .259, 3 home runs and 12 runs batted in.
And you see Brandon attacking that first pitch. That seems to be the best pitch to attack when you're facing Clayton Kershaw. First pitch batters that get that ball in play hit .289 off of him.
Well, when altogether everybody's hitting a grand total of .209 against him, so you might as well get him at that point.
And you get the 2 strikes. You're hitting about 138. The league is off him, so you don't want to get there, and you're probably going to get the slider or a well-located fastball once he gets ahead of you.
Yeah, that's when you're facing Kershaw. You don't want to get behind in the count. You mentioned all those numbers, all those strikeouts, Charlie, and as your team, as you have in your team meeting, you say, okay, we're going to face Clayton Kershaw. How do we want to attack him? They're still trying to figure out that formula. It's one is, well, those numbers you just said, well, you're .289 hitter on the very first pitch, so look for it. I'm not saying just go swing freely, but you're going to have to look for it. If it's a pitch you feel you can handle, swing the bat. Don't wait for it and say, oh, I just wanted to see one against Clayton Kershaw, because you'll see 3 and go sit down.
Statistically, your best chance is on the first pitch. 1-2. Barnes, out of Catella High School down in Anaheim, came over from the Astros in the offseason. Dexter Fowler sent to Houston. Kershaw has struck out 4. Retired the first 7. 1 out, nobody on in the third.
An off-speed pitch right here. Clayton doesn't go to the slider. Looks like it's the curveball, and at times it'll look like a changeup here in Colorado because it doesn't break as much, but you can see that broke left to right and down and into the right-handed hitter really just disappears way out in front. So the slider disappears under your bat and the curveball disappears under your bat, but also has you out front.
Here's LeMahieu. First ball swinging. No balls and a strike. That's maybe the most revealing number of all. 289 against the first pitch against Kershaw, when everybody else, when you put all the numbers together, hitting a grand total of 209 against him. You got your best chance on the first pitch. And not a bad shot on the second pitch. For LeMahieu, a single to right. The first 8 batters have come and gone, and LeMahieu is the first base runner for the Rockies.
Well, the first pitch of Clayton Kershaw is usually also going to be a strike. He's thrown 70% first pitch strikes this year on the first pitch, of course. Tonight, 7 out of 8 of the hitters he's faced, he's thrown a first pitch strike, and a lot of times that's a fastball, and that's why they attack it. That was the second pitch, but it was a fastball also. And that's the highest average against him. When you face him, you want to try and find a fastball to hit.
LeMahieu 8 for 25 against Kershaw in his career, so he's done well. And Jurgens is going to try and sacrifice here. And he'll get it done. Whoa! Throw to third. Not in time.
Not a tough play for 2 people. Not a tough play for Clayton and not a tough play for D. Gordon. And both of them could not come through. Clayton, of course, with the biggest flaw as far as not being able to throw the ball cleanly to first base, and he just babies it. A nice bunt by Jurgens, and Clayton just routinely going to pick it up and kind of just babies it over there instead of gunning it, giving D a break because of that sun over there. But as he throws it, he gets a little short, and then D kind of screws up his own footwork and could have reached out and caught it in the air, or maybe backed up and caught it on the bounce, but neither one got it done.
Sacrifice and an error for Kershaw. And you know, for the next week to 10 days, Kershaw's going to be kicking himself. So now the Rockies with a break. Runners at the corners with 1 out, and Charlie Blackmon coming up. By the way, the LeMahieu base hit extends a hitting streak to 10 games. First and third with 1 out.
You see Charlie going after that first pitch fastball. Didn't want to get to a slider. Struck out on his first at bat on a hard slider down and away after being sped up by the fastball.
Or what adjustments do you make as a pitcher when you recognize that that's what the team's plan of attack is, to really be aggressive on that first pitch?
I know Clayton's hunting a strikeout right here, so it'd be a little different compared to when I need a strikeout compared to when I just want an out.
No balls and a strike. Does Uribe have room? No.
But the key, if you get a team that's attacking you on the first pitch and you know that's where they want to go, they don't want to get to your breaking stuff, your off-speed stuff, is you just make a little higher quality first pitch, because you know the bat's probably moving. So I would, if I'm Clayton, I'm going to throw the ball, my fastball or my slider, but I'm not going to go for as much of just a strike, but a quality strike.
Almost like an 0-2, as if you had an 0-2 on the bat?
Yeah, 0-1.
0-1.
Yeah, 0-1, I'm ahead. Because I don't have to give you as much visually that you're going to start the bat.
LeMahieu at third and Jurgens at first. And they have got Jurgens picked off. He is out. Now, where in the world was he going?
It's a pretty ugly inning. He got to first base because of poor defense, and now he just gives the out back. Jair, I don't know where he is going at all. Clayton has an outstanding move. Only very few people even try to steal a base off of Clayton because his move is so good.
And I wonder if he was just shocked, because why would he throw? I mean, his lead was a half, it looked like a step and a half off first, and he still gets picked off there. Oh.
He hasn't been on base in a while, apparently. So now there's 2 out. Second pickoff of the year for Kershaw. When he first came up, Kershaw had no pickoff move whatsoever because he never needed one in high school or even the minor leagues. And then he now, the great athleticism that he has displayed, has one of the best pickoff moves.
Well, that's one thing about Clayton. We talked about it, how when he first came up, he was a two-pitch pitcher. He was a fastball and curveball. Then he developed his slider. I know that he was flirting with a changeup at times. He worked on cutters. So he was constantly trying to evolve as a pitcher and get better. Well, he takes the same approach in all aspects of his game, holding the runners on, being better in that aspect. Defense, you mentioned Charlie, he's going to kick himself after that one error over there. You bet he's going to kick himself because he takes pride in that. And he takes pride also on the offensive side. We see how well he hustles down to first base, how when he misses certain pitches, he gets mad at himself if he strikes out.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Blackmon, who struck out in his first at-bat.
Clayton's going to hit 4th in the next inning. That's where he is in the order, and he's one of the few pitchers that you see that starts open as a hitter, closes as the pitcher delivers the ball, has a leg kick, and he also has a 2-strike approach. So he doesn't stop at just saying, I'm a great pitcher.
A ball and 2 strikes. LeMahieu is at third base, and Kershaw's scoreless string of 30 2/3. Three runs and 5 hits for the Dodgers. No runs and a hit for the Rockies. The 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. 5 strikeouts. The scoreless string now is 31. We'll go to the 4th. Dodgers 3-0.
Coors Field, a very nice military welcome. A young man seeing his parents for the first time here at Coors Field. The Dodgers with a 3-0 lead as we make our way now to the bottom of the top of the 4th inning. Excuse me. It begs to question Independence Day. How many times have the Dodgers won on this very day? Well, it's actually pretty even if you take a look at it. 91, 91, and 3 all time. Of course, we're going way back to 1884. 64 doubleheaders on Independence Day in that time. Since moving to LA, though, they're 1 game below 500 against the Colorado Rockies, a winning record, 2-1 record. The Rockies, however, 9-13 all time on the 4th of July. Of course, the Rockies have certainly struggled on every day this season. Not a good record for the Rocks in 2014. See if they can make it 3-1 against the Rockies, guys.
Rockies begin this day at 36-50, and the rock slide continues. They've lost 15 of their last 17, and Andre Ethier will lead it off for the Dodgers in the 4th. Ethier with his 4th triple of the year, knocking in Hanley Ramirez, who had doubled after Puig had homered, and Gordon was knocked in on the Puig home run, which traveled 435 feet. And here's Ethier in the 4th. 1 ball and no strikes. What's wrong with this Kershaw guy, Nomar? He gave up a hit.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first hit the Rockies have gotten off of him in their last 11 innings facing Clayton Kershaw. So You know what? Stick a fork in him.
He's losing it. He's losing it.
No, Nomar is. Ethier takes inside. 2 balls, no strikes. It'll be Ethier, Uribe, and Ellis. We were talking earlier, Oral. Of course, you have the consecutive scoreless streak
For now.
I
think we have a new guy on the way.
You've had it for a while.
Yes, sir.
And obviously one of the great records in baseball history. What kind of pressure do you bring to the ballpark? What kind of confidence do you bring to the ballpark? Do the two intersect? What is going through Kershaw's DNA at this point? Here's the 2-1 to Ethier, high and away 3-1, where he is so dominant every time he touches a baseball.
Yeah, there's so many things. Looking back to mine in '88, it was in September, of course, and we were in the drive to win the division. So every game was so important for the whole team, and I think that's the way Clayton looks upon it, not about himself, but the whole team and the battle to get back to first place. And now that they're in first place, the battle to grow that lead. And so he takes the responsibility very, very personal, I think, and relates it more to team and winning than he does the streak. And
well, whatever it is, it's working.
Yeah, Don Drysdale was so gracious during my streak, and I hope that somebody like Clayton breaks mine someday, because to enjoy a run like that and to enjoy baseball at that level is something that should be shared and other people should get to do.
Well, Andre Ethier is 2 for 2 with a single and a triple. A leadoff single for Ethier here in the 4th.
Andre Ethier does a good job getting on top of this pitch. There was a pitch, a 2-1 pitch that was in the similar spot that looked like it was out of the zone, and they ended up calling for a strike. So he wasn't going to wait around to see if he was going to make the same call. Instead, he gets on top of it and gets a base hit.
For the Dodgers, their 6th hit. Uribe quite a night last night. 2 singles, a double, and the game-winning RBI in the 9th.
Or I just want to put your streak in perspective, because I was thinking going into today, Clayton at 28 innings, and it wasn't even halfway to your streak. That's how impressive what Orioles has done. I'm like, wow, we're marveling at what Clayton has been doing, and it's still
continuing. Well, he's more than halfway.
Right, but more than halfway right now, but just barely, and that just tells you how impressive that streak is. And there was a chance it was last inning almost close to being broken with a man 90 feet away. There's so many little things that go right, and so many things like that can change it.
Yep. 4, 6, and 3. Uribe not quite sure of that one. First base umpire Pat Hoberg with the punch out. That was quite a play at shortstop by Rutledge after the throw from LeMahieu.
Yeah, the feed from LeMahieu was offline, so it kind of took Rutledge out towards right field, and he had to do a pirouette around the bag to get the throw off.
I'm wondering if Morneau was able to keep his foot on first as Uribe crossed it. See him outstretch. Maybe there's a toe there. I don't know.
Well, there's 2 out and nobody on, and no protest from Uribe, Lopes, or the bench. Now A.J. Ellis. Again, one more note about Orel in the streak. So now here's Kershaw at 31 straight. Only 27 innings. 3 more full games. Ellis.
Well, there's a point that Nomar made, and I am rooting for Clayton. It would be fantastic to watch and to be here, and we've got a long way to go, but we can only pull for him. But there are so many things that happen in a game when I go back and watch, and have maybe 10, 15 years ago I went back and watched some things from those games, and you go, oh my God, there's going to be a run here, right?
Right.
Right. They are going to score.
Right. I mean,
John Shelby's not going to run that ball down again, is he? Steve Sack's not going to pick that ball in the hole up and throw the guy to first, is he? And they're just things that happen that all of a sudden, Jurgen gets picks off. Right. Clayton would be the one kicking himself from that inning when he threw the ball away, and Diehl will be kicking himself that he didn't pick it. But guess what? His ability continues to shine because he strikes out Blackman and gets out of the inning.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Ellis with 2 out and nobody on in the 4th. He's still 27 innings shy. 3 full games of shutouts. Here's a 2-2.
And on the flip side, let me tell you, if you're the opposing team facing someone when Orioles go into the streak, they're taking it up a notch too, because they're saying we're going to be the team that breaks it. We're, okay, we face some good pitchers. We know he's on a roll. But no, you know what? We're breaking it today. That's what we're trying to do. We're going to get that one. So that's what also makes it more impressive of what he was able to do, because he's facing teams going down the stretch that recognize the streak and are trying to destroy it.
And put on top of that the motivation that he hit them. They're a little more focused here.
Walt Weiss, in his second year as the manager of the Rockies, a team for whom he played for 4 seasons. Grew up in New York, played in Oakland, at Atlanta, and here. He was a tough, gritty shortstop. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Ellis goes the other way with a base hit. That was a pretty swing and a good at-bat.
That's what Ellis does so well when he hits at the bottom of the lineup. We know he gets on base. He draws a lot of walks, but gives you a good at-bat, and he turns the lineup over.
But take a look at Clayton's mechanics for me, Nomar, and watch the way he hits. It's absolutely amazing now how he's developed his swing.
He starts off open, and then he closes it with a late kick.
Yeah, it's just, this is not a pitcher's approach. This is an athlete's approach.
Dodger fans send the Padres a fruit plate. Shut out the Giants this afternoon, 2-0 at Petco. Eric Stoltz wins it. Gave up 4 hits in 7 innings, a one-time Dodger. Matt Cain drops to 1-7. Who'd have thunk? Kershaw grounds out, and that will end the Dodger 4th. But they'll go to the bottom of the 4th with a 3-0 lead, and Kershaw riding high. Is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box for the new Jalapeno Ranch or Barbecue Ultimate Cheeseburgers at participating restaurants. And by the Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2014 Truck of the Year and first ever back-to-back champion. Fans, you like to listen to your music everywhere you go? Then come on out to Dodger Stadium a week from Sunday, July 13th, when the Dodgers take on the Padres at 1:10. First 40,000 fans will take home a portable speaker, courtesy of State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. And then there's Clayton Kershaw. His scoreless streak now is 31 consecutive innings. He has given up 1 base hit today. He has struck out 5, and he has walked nobody. So he is now on the year at 112 strikeouts and 11 walks.
And he is pitching in a different atmosphere today, which is at a higher level when you continue to put zeros up, because this is a great offensive club. I know they don't have their star Troy Tulowitzki in there or Cargo, but still they all swing the bat real well, and he's made a fantastic adjustment of pitching in this atmosphere and getting his breaking stuff down and keeping it sharp.
Well, wherever Kershaw pitches, he pitches at a higher level.
That's true.
Rutledge leading it off. He's playing at shortstop tonight. Tulowitzki sideline. Tweaked groin, strained groin, pulled groin. He ain't right. And he probably won't go tomorrow, is at least what they're saying today. He's been battling that groin problem most of the year. So Rutledge, no balls and 2 strikes, a strikeout victim in his first at-bat. Arenado on deck and Morneau to follow. Rutledge with 28 hits on the year in 93 at-bats. Well, they sold out the joint yesterday, big fireworks show afterwards, and it looks like another sellout here tonight at Coors Field. Last night, the second sellout of the season. On 1-2. 6 strikeouts. Have a look at a Carl's Cam close-up of this strikeout from Clayton Kershaw from here to there.
And there's the adjustment. He couldn't really throw the big bender, but he still had enough bend on that to catch the outside corner and backdoor that curveball and get his K.
It wasn't like noon to 6, it was like noon to 4:30.
Yeah, and I chuckled on that one only because as a hitter, you're going up and you're saying, okay, he's going to try to keep that curveball down. That's what he's been doing this entire game. And now all of a sudden he throws it for a strike and freezes you. 5
of the 6 strikeouts have come on the breaking ball. Uribe, look at that backhanded stop. Oh, what a play at either end. Uribe and Gonzalez. What a play. Arenado, the Gold Glove winner last year at third base. And by all accounts, Uribe was the runner-up. Uribe saying, hey, take that.
Giving him a taste of his own medicine, because Arenado makes plays like this quite often. And then Uribe, and on the back end, Adrian Gonzalez finishing it up. Wow. That's such a great reaction by Clayton Kershaw.
You so much appreciate great defenders, and there's 2 of them.
We've been saying it all year. The first couple of months when the Dodgers had difficulty getting out of their own way, it was pitching or defense. You don't win that way. It's the pitching and defense, and that was quite a play by Uribe. The Dodgers made only 8 errors in the month of June. Into center field, Ethier's there to make the catch. Good first step for Ethier. Another 1-2-3 inning for Kershaw. Juan Uribe, who's got faster hands at third base in this league or any league. Oh. And at the other end, Gonzalez. 3:30 in the afternoon, and the Dodgers start taking their infield workouts. Juan Uribe at third, and Ira Buena not too bad with the glove either. Uribe takes the ground balls as he did that play at third base, where he kind of flicks his wrist. Is almost Harlem Globetrotter-esque-ish, but he does it for a reason. I mean, the instincts that he has, Nolan Arenado, he knows a thing or two about playing third base. But watching that inning-ending play, Arenado robbed of the base hit. You see where all that hard work comes from. Gordon leads off the fifth. Puig and Ramirez to follow. Jurgens delivers outside. D. Gordon 1 for 2. Bunt base hit and a ground out. Now it's 2-1.
Well, this is an inning I'd like to see if the Dodgers can put a few more up on the board here. We talked about that first inning, how they put 3 on there, and it looked like they took their foot off the gas pedal just a little bit. And that's easy to do, especially when you have your guy like Clayton Kershaw on the hill and you find yourself just watching and admiring how well he's pitching.
This is going to be trouble, and this is going to be another base hit. All McHenry could do is put it in his metaphorical hip pocket.
D. Gordon uses the process. The process is I'm going to drive the third baseman in because of my bunt, and then I'm going to slap it by him. When he goes to slap it by him right here, he tops it, but the residue of a bad break of topping it turns into a base hit because he was working the plan. Hit the ball on the ground and see what happens. Hit it just long enough.
There wasn't much that Michael McHenry could do. And now here's Puig with a 2-run home run in his first at-bat that traveled 435 feet over the wall in straightaway center. He's also bounced to third. Now you can run on McHenry. He's only thrown out 1 of 16. Gordon has stolen 40 out of 49. And the Dodgers lead by 3, certainly playing with a bit of house money here. Puig will pop it into short left. That's Charlie Blackmon. It'll bring up Hanley Ramirez. So Jurgens appears to be settling down after a rocky first inning. Stoltz and the Padres shut out the Giants 2-0 today. The Giants have lost 18 of their last 23. The Dodgers have won 16 of their last 24. So that's how a 9.5 game lead and deficit go through a revolving door.
Giants are on the same kind of slide that the Rockies are on.
Rockies have lost 15 of 17.
It's getting pretty close to being called an avalanche instead of a rock slide.
Well, they play in the winter.
Don't try and keep up with us, Nomar.
I'll just let you guys go. I'm just watching the game, guys.
Hey, how about Brazil today? All right. Gonzalez on deck. There goes Gordon. Well, that's one of the reasons why McHenry is now 1 for 17. Slipped out of his hand like a bar of soup.
Even if he has a grip on this, I don't think he has a chance at D. Gordon. He got a tremendous jump on that pitch.
That's a replay Michael McHenry can live without.
It shows you D's speed and the anxiety that he creates in world-class people, really. I mean, even if you're the worst catcher at the big league level, and McHenry's not the worst, but I'm just saying that's what it exposes in people, because his world-class speed just puts you at a place where you just can't move fast enough.
41 out of 50 for Gordon. Ramirez has doubled and scored a run. He's also bounced to short. 11 home runs, 46 runs batted in. And now Jurgens wants to get on the same page with McHenry, with Gordon at second base. No doubt they're altering the signals, and Jurgens is new to Colorado.
Exactly, Charlie. Jurgens really didn't make a good first impression here with the 3 runs in the first inning, but then has settled down and then kind of went back to bad impressions for Walt Weiss when he got picked off at first in the first and third situation when the Rockies were trying to scratch a run out.
Ramirez 288 with runners in scoring position this year, and 271 overall. Gonzalez on deck. Adrian with 53 runs batted in. He's been in the top 10 practically all year in RBIs. One and one to Ramirez. Mayhew trying to come in on the blind side.
DJ LeMahieu is personally responsible for getting D close. He and Jurgens, of course, because they've got Rutledge way over, playing Hanley to pull.
Here's the 1-1. Ooh. It has been a rugged year for Ramirez. And immediately, Stan Conti is out there. Wanted to make sure all the pieces are in place. Mattingly is there.
Right off the hand, the back of the hand, and that's always, you hear it there. And you always worry because there's so many little bones over there connecting your hands and your wrists, and you see him trying to squeeze Stan Conti's hand there as they continue to check it.
For Hanley Ramirez this year, if it's not one thing, it's been another. Calf, shoulder, hamstring, hand. Well, he's okay. And that'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez with those 53 RBIs. He's 4th in the National League in that category. Garnering attention with the All-Star voting that expired last night, and on Sunday they will announce the National and American League All-Stars. Adrian tonight has a single and 2 at-bats. One out in the 5th.
It just seems the way our team is going, the Dodgers, and that there's going to be a few All-Stars for sure. I kind of worry about J.P. Howell, deserving as he is out of the bullpen. Kenley Jansen deserving, Adrian Gonzalez deserving, D. Gordon deserving, Clayton Kershaw, Zach Greinke. It's just, you know, it goes on and on. Yasiel Puig.
And Jansen among the league leaders in saves. His ERA is high, but his save efficiency is about as good as anybody.
And I think once the team gets announced, it's going to, maybe one of our players will be in the vote at the end also. There are so many guys that are deserving. And sometimes a guy like J.P. Howell, who absolutely deserves it, will get overlooked because it's just not a place that you usually select. Left-handed relievers are not always guys that high on the list of picking.
He's a specialty guy. He's been special.
Real special.
The 1-2 to Gonzalez. Time called just before the toss.
The thing about JP is he's a specialty guy, but he also can get right-handers out. You know, you can bring him in with a fresh inning. You can bring him in with bases loaded. You can bring him in against a righty. You can bring him in against a lefty.
And pretty near every day.
Yep.
And we talked about how you might also get overlooked. There's some of all the names you mentioned because you have to have a representative from each ball club as well.
Yep.
So and especially when it comes to the relievers and the pitching, the manager is looking at that. He has to say, okay, well, do I have everyone represented? Is there maybe a team is not represented, at least from a position player standpoint? What reliever I might have to go look at, and that could also work against J.P. Howell.
Yep.
So, but I'm sure we all hope that he is there because definitely deserving.
Fellow like D. Gordon, for instance, because of the quality second baseman out there, greatest first half of season.
I think D's got a chance if the non-vote comes, if the vote comes not his way, just because there's so many ways that he can win the game for you.
Yeah, and also, as the reserve, that reserve there, I'm trying to think how many second basemen are really ahead of him in this league right now.
Yeah. But then it becomes a question of the manager making the decision, and is every team accounted for?
Right.
And it's not that fly ball into short right. Barnes is there. Gordon tags, and he will go to third base easily. So Gonzalez flies to right. Gordon goes to third, and Van Slyke is coming up.
D brings the tools of winning at the end of the game as far as, okay, a defensive replacement with great range. Then he can be, of course, the pinch runner that can score the winning run, and then can also be the best leadoff hitter that if you want to all of a sudden go against a really tough right-handed reliever.
And those things are all true, but again, there's only so many places, so much room at the end.
It's a very complicated process.
And the X factor again is making sure every team is accounted for at least one player. Now Van Slyke. And that's the issue, for instance, with J.P. Howell on the other side.
Exactly.
Got many great pitchers. And Howell has pitched as well as anybody in his role this year. Not everybody gets to go to the prom. 1-1 to Van Slyke, who has struck out and bounced to short. Dodgers cuffed Jurgens around, Jair Jurgens, in the first inning. 3 runs and 4 hits. They've been knocking at the door since, but had not been able to tack on any runs in the meantime. Kershaw has given up 1 hit and struck out 6. 1-2 to Van Slyke. Andre Ethier is on deck. Gordon, an infield hit, a stolen base. Puig flied to left. Ramirez hit by a pitch. Gonzalez flied to right, and Gordon went to third on the fly ball. So it's first and third, 2 out, and a 1-2 pitch coming to Scott Van Slyke. Outside and low, Ramirez steals a base. He was off and running with the pitch. And for Hanley Ramirez, he has stolen 11.
It's that situation you're looking for, Nomar, when you said the Dodgers need to tack on for Clayton, not just rest on their laurels. Big 2-out hit in the first inning.
got us the third run by Andre Ethier. There could be a big 2-out hit right here by Scott Van Slyke.
Here's the 2-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Scott Van Slyke.
Ethier lingering on deck might get Van Slyke a little better pitch to hit right here than a 3-2 breaking ball that he tries to get him to chase. Ethier with the hit off him and being left-handed. Jurgen might want to attack Van Slyke right here.
But Van Slyke is only 4 for 30 with runners in scoring position, but that has gone up markedly with a 3-run home run. A long-distance wallop for Scott Van Slyke. His 8th home run of the year. And the Dodgers now have themselves a nice fat 6-0 lead. What a wallop by Van Slyke.
If I'm Jurgens on the mound and I see a righty on deck, this breaking ball I might start a strike and end up in the dirt, get him to swing and miss. But because Ethier's on deck, you might want to try and throw for a strike and get this guy out. Righty, I don't want to see that lefty. Well, you're going to see the lefty, but it's going to be when you're down 6-0 now because of Van Slyke's great swing.
So Puig, a 2-run home run, Van Slyke, a 3-run home run, and the Dodgers lead by a half dozen.
And I knew these guys listened to us during the game. We said this is a good time to get that, tack on some more runs and 2-out RBIs coming up big.
Van Slyke, 8 home runs on the season, now 15 runs batted in. You like the Dodgers' chances tonight with Kershaw on the hill and 32 consecutive scoreless innings and a 6-run lead to work with. Not going out on a limb or anything.
I like the equation.
And the Dodgers like the score. Ethier 2 for 2 tonight. Van Slyke has just done a terrific job all year. Whether he's filling in right field, center field, left field. He started in center last night. And Ethier off the end of the bat. Made a nice catch in the second inning, robbing Morneau of a base hit. Did Van Slyke.
Scotty Van Slyke, getting an opportunity against a right-handed starter, hitting a breaking ball that was away on a 3-2 count, had it in rhythm. And he will continue to put up good scouting reports from all the people watching the Dodgers as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. I'm sure when Ned Colletti's phone rings and they start brainstorming possible deals, that there's going to be a lot of clubs asking for Scott.
And most of them getting turned down, I imagine.
I would think so. But, he's a very valuable piece for the Dodgers, but that makes him an even more valuable piece for other clubs because of the logjam in the Dodger outfield and the depth of talent.
The other side of the coin, of course, is Carl Crawford remains injury prone. He remains at the moment in Albuquerque. And so the whole question of 4 outfielders into 3, then became 5 outfielders into 3. So it may be a luxury, but the way this team is formulated with the players that they have, it may not be a luxury as much as it is a necessity. Here's a 3-2, high ball 4. That's the first walk given up by Jurgens.
The depth has turned into a strength, and not only a strength that we've needed the bodies, but when the bodies come in, this team has not won 4 games in a row all year, but is very close to being one of the best teams in baseball just from that plodding of, okay, where's the next warm body that can produce at a solid level, and we will be a solid team.
Jim Wright is now out having a chat with Jurgens. And again, the numbers within the numbers. Van Slyke and Ethier have each come to bat 3 times. each of them has worked the count to 3 balls in each of their at-bats. Something that makes Mark McGwire, no doubt, smile a bit. And here's Uribe, 0 for 2, and turned in one of the outstanding defensive plays of the season, robbing Nolan Arenado of a base hit in the 4th. Oh, look at the diving stop by Rutledge. He can't make the play to second. But keeping the ball in the infield is quite a feat in and of itself. So an infield hit for Uribe.
Well, that was a nice play by Rutledge. Ball off the end of the bat from Uribe. He didn't really square it up. Might have even broken his bat on that one. But good play, good hustle by Ethier, recognizing that and saying, I have to get to second there so I can get my teammate a base hit.
And Ellis a chance to bat. Rutledge filling in for the injured Troy Tulowitzki. Aggravated his groin last night, running out an infield hit. Every Dodger's got a hit with the exception of Kershaw, who's going to bat next. Ellis takes high, 1 ball and no strikes. 6 runs and 10 hits for the Dodgers. No runs and a hit for the Rockies. Strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 out. Bettis now warming up in the Colorado bullpen. One ball, 2 strikes to A.J. Ellis.
3 spot in the 1st and a 3 spot in the 5th for the Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw taken out of that 6-0 lead. And Walt Weiss, the manager of the Rockies, has done a nice job being patient with Jurgens and protecting his bullpen here. Jurgens now at 96 pitches, getting a full workload out of him because he does not want to burn his bullpen up.
The 1-2. Well, the Rockies, their pitching has been decimated. Walt Weiss can only do so much. He's had 13 different starting pitchers, and Jurgens is the 13th this season. The team ERA dead last in the majors. The starters ERA is 5.25. There's a line drive into center field for a base hit, and Ethier is on his way home. The throw will be cut off by Morneau. An RBI single for Ellis. 4th run of the 5th for the Dodgers, who now lead 7-0.
Well, 2 out RBIs. We can preach it all night long how big they are. A.J. Ellis, I said about his last at-bat, he does an excellent job turning the lineup over, getting to the pitcher's spot. And not only did he do that, but he gets an RBI. Nice single up the middle.
Jim Wright will call out to the bullpen. Is Bettis ready? Well, Jurgens will face Kershaw, who is 0 for 2. And Clayton lines one into left field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Here comes Uribe. The throw is going to be cut off. An RBI single for Clayton Kershaw. His first run batted into the season. The rout is on. 8-0 Dodgers.
Well, we know the type of competitor that Kershaw is, and I'm sure, Charlie, he knew that he's the only one in the lineup without a base hit. So he's going, all right, I want to get mine.
My turn. Well, Walt Weiss can bear to watch only so much. And Jurgens can handle only so much. Dodgers with 5 in the 5th lead 8-0. And the hit parade continues. on the Colorado Rockies. 8-zip. And a reminder, the 2014 MLB All-Star voting isn't quite over yet. Be sure to vote for the final player for each league roster this Sunday through Thursday. Check Dodgers.com on Sunday to see who made the team and vote for who should get that final spot on each roster. Well, here's Chad Bettis now on in relief. Second round pick of the Rockies back in 2010. Well, he's got an unseemly ERA, and opposing hitters have had rather a good time against him. So the Rockies, they're 14 under 500. And we see why.
Chad Bettis has had a rough time here. He was on the opening day roster, been up and down. This is his third stint with the Rockies. And he's struggling to find outs.
Second pitcher of the night, Jurgens, 4 2/3, 8 earned runs and 12 base hits. Jurgens just called up the other day, so after his first 4 2/3 innings of the year, he leaves the game with parting gifts to the tune of a 15.43 ERA. Oh boy. 1 ball, 1 strike to Gordon. Gordon is 2 for 3, and this is his second at bat of the 5th. Puig on deck. Ellis at second, Kershaw at first, and Gordon takes outside. The 99 pitches that Jurgens threw tonight, most he's thrown in 2 years. That's one way to go. 3 for 4. He's had 3 hits tonight that have maybe traveled a total of 90 feet.
I'll take the under.
And when he's smiling,
Maybe.
I'll tell you, the first one he did, you're going, all right, just got lucky there, topped it. It only went short distance. This one, it looked like he almost tried to do it again. Like come on, you're practicing this, but like you said, staying with, believing in the process. Quote from D. Gordon all the time, I'm supposed to put it on the ground, and gets on top of it. And
he almost looks like he's laughing down the line.
He was.
15 feet per hit. He should be laughing. If they were fish, he'd throw them back. So the bases are loaded. And here's Puig, who hit a 2-run home run in his first at bat.
The Dodgers haven't had a grand slam this year. I'm just saying.
Two balls and no strikes to Yasiel Puig. A 435-foot home run to straightaway center in the first inning. Since then, he has bounced to third, flied to left, and he's got the bases loaded with 2 out. Little bounce to second base, and that will end the inning. So Puig, a 2-run home run in the first. Van Slyke, a 3-run blast here in the 5th. And the rout is on. After 4.5 innings of play, Kershaw and the Dodgers have an 8-0 lead. Connected with as we sit down with Matt Kemp as he talks about his dream as a player and how he wants to be remembered. Don't miss Connected with Matt Kemp on Sunday at 5 o'clock on Sportsnet LA. Hanley Ramirez, who was hit by a pitch on the hand, is out of the game. Now, whether it's just a matter of the Dodgers leading 8-0 or there may be more to the hand than we know about. Either way, new shortstop is Arizbel Arbarena. And if you have not watched him play shortstop yet, you're about to see something special. And speaking of something special, Clayton Kershaw, he has struck out 6. He's walked nobody. His scoreless streak is at 32 innings. And since his first start in June, he has now faced 175 batters, 67 strikeouts, 71 ground balls, and 37 flyouts. Can't beat him.
Very special human being on the mound.
Ain't a bad pitcher either.
You got that right both ways.
Stubbs, McHenry, and Barnes to bat. No balls and 2 strikes. Stubbs a strikeout victim in his first at bat. So Kershaw, including tonight, 113 strikeouts and 11 walks. And an ERA that's now under 2, 194. Opposing hitters are hitting barely 200. And he is, as they say, locked in. Three balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, when you look at the National League ERA leaders, number 1, 1.89, Adam Wainwright, and then Johnny Cueto at 1.99. Clayton doesn't slip in there yet. The ERA is at the right place. You just got to get the innings total up. 1 inning for every game the Dodgers have played.
He gives up a walk. Hold the presses. We have a new lead. First walk given up by Kershaw. $12 on the year. Now Michael McHenry, the backup catcher to Willian Rosario. Pops it up. Short right. Gonzalez gives way to Gordon, a step in foul territory. Brandon Barnes coming up. And Kershaw cruising right along. Again, a lot's been made over the Dodgers starters. Coming into tonight, 37 consecutive starts, giving up no more than 2 walks. And now the Dodgers are up to about 244 innings. 233 strikeouts and 38 walks in those 37 plus games. Kershaw, Greinke, Ryu, Aaron, Beckett, 5-man electrical band. Brandon Barnes out of Anaheim. Former Astro came over in the Dexter Fowler trade. Game 3 of the 4-game series tomorrow. 2:10 locally, 1:10 Los Angeles time. Hearn and Jorge De La Rosa. Sunday, Josh Beckett, 2:10 Mountain, 1:10 Pacific. Beckett and Johan Flande. Another one we've not seen before. sounds like a gourmet dish. I'll have a Johann Flande, please.
Table side.
Yes. Yes, we'll make it at the table for you, sir. Well, let's see what he can cook up on Sunday. 0-2. Barnes is struck out. 7 strikeouts for Kershaw. 7 or more strikeouts in 12 of his 13 starts this year for Clayton Kershaw. He has struck out at least 9 in 8 of his 12 starts. This is his 13th. Two out. Stubbs at first. And LeMahieu, who has the only hit of the night off Kershaw. Of course, Kershaw had the no-hitter against the Rockies. But LeMahieu put an end to that dream in the 3rd inning with a clean single to right.
It was a second pitch fastball that he got that was a little out over the plate.
One ball and 2 strikes to DJ LeMahieu.
You know, as I watch Clayton as well when there's a man on first, and I mentioned about how he works on really holding the runners on. He's given the runner at first base, Drew Stubbs, already 4 different looks. I mean, he's picked over, he stepped off and picked over. He gave him just kind of a courtesy throw over, and then a better throw over, and then a slide step, and then a higher leg kick.
Into center field, Ethier is there. Another ho-hum inning for Kershaw. He actually walked a batter. He was struck out 7 tonight.
See the ALS commemorative patch. Obviously, Lou Gehrig in his famous iconic sports speech 75 years ago. Lou Gehrig gave his famous speech at Yankee Stadium. Of course, we now know it as Lou Gehrig's disease. It is ALS, and certainly such a memorable speech 75 years ago. Lou Gehrig, one of the most iconic figures in all of sports. MLB has donated more than $300,000 to 4 organizations leading the fight against ALS. This is certainly their awareness initiative. All games on July 4th, obviously today, will feature on-field ceremonies to commemorate this speech and honor Gehrig's legacy. MLB players, you saw the patch earlier. Coaches and umpires will wear that commemorative patch. The 2014 ALS Awareness Initiative, the 75th anniversary of Lou Gehrig's Luckiest Man speech. Hard to believe, guys, it's been 75 years.
Arbarena, as you see, is now batting for Hanley Ramirez and wearing, like all of the players, as Alana mentioned, that patch on his jersey. Lou Gehrig wore number 4 because he batted 4th in the lineup. And Babe Ruth wore number 3 because he batted 3rd. And that's how numbers originally began. Who batted in what order? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Which meant that Yasiel Puig would never come up to bat. 3 balls and a strike to Arena, called up just yesterday. But only that hideous disease could take Lou Gehrig out of the lineup. Ruth and Gehrig, the dynamic 1-2 punch, as dynamic a 1-2 punch as ever there was in baseball history, could not have been more disparate personalities. Arenado showing why he won the Gold Glove last year. Ruth, the iconic showman, never met a camera he didn't like, a reporter he wouldn't talk to. Lou Gehrig, city kid, would go home, first his mom and then to his wife. Low key, really didn't like the limelight at all. How would you like to face those two in the 8th inning of a big game?
It wouldn't be a lot of fun, I don't think. But let's put it this way, I wouldn't have backed down.
No. It would have been a challenge.
Would have been fun challenge.
Took my scientific approach, not fun.
That's right. I have run the numbers through the computer. Not fun. 0-2 to Adrian Gonzalez. Dodgers in a cakewalk, 8-0. They've out-hit the Rockies 13-1. So the Dodgers provide their own July 4th fireworks show. Chad Bettis on in relief of Jair Jurgens. And on 0-2. Down the left field line, slicing foul and out of play.
When it comes to the Los Angeles Dodgers and the rotation and what these guys, the numbers these guys are putting up, and as consistent as they are, and it's almost for me like a high tide raises all ships. And the high tide is the starting rotation. It makes the defense better, makes the offense better. It makes the bullpen better because there's less workload out there. You can have multiple guys that can finish off an 8th inning because the starters go 7, and then you have Kenley Jansen in the 9th. The offense is better because on their weak nights they can still win a 2-1 game, 3-1 game. And the defense is better because these guys, when they hit the ball off them, it's hit weakly, and the starters strike out a lot of guys. So they pick the defense up. It's just, this team right now is on the back of the starting rotation,
which has the lowest earned run average in baseball, an even 3 going into the game, and it's gone down markedly tonight. Gonzalez bounces to short, second out. Dodgers starters have the best record in baseball at 43-23, and the lowest ERA of something under 3 now.
And you know, when it started the season, it wasn't like that because the starters struggled. They wouldn't go deep in the game. So they put it really taxed the bullpen. Obviously, the defense wasn't playing well behind them as well, so that was adding to those numbers of the pitch count on the starters. But I also think that that Australia trip and the shortened spring training also affected them. After that first month, they started getting their arms and legs underneath them, started going deeper in the game, and I think it really changed after that. And then they started getting a normal rotation and into a rhythm as well.
Well, let's not forget that Kershaw had the back issue that took him out of about 5 starts. So they had to juggle that. And Greinke is doing something we have no idea what he's doing, but I'm sure he's enjoying himself.
Pouring the water in the sunflower seeds.
Yep. He's taking the salt off the sunflower seeds.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Yep. It's washing them down.
We go from Johan Flande to washing down.
There's a couple different ways to do that. You can take the bag and get a little tiny hole on each end, and you can rub them between your hands and grind the salt off the seeds by rubbing them against each other, and then you start smacking the bag and letting air go in, and then the salt gets shot out, or you can wash them. I like the desalt where you do the smacking and rubbing because there's a little bit of salt left. That they almost get completely clean.
Memo to viewer: this is blowout conversation.
Well, we can do an Access 360 on the post game with this.
180's a push.
How do you get rid of salt on sunflower seeds? Well, first you open the bag, then you get a cup of water.
You can do that. This is inside baseball stuff.
That's really inside.
Look at him.
Inside the dugout.
Still not quite the way he wants it.
All right. Blessing the dugout is what he's doing. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 out.
Holy smokes, that water's salty.
Ethier tonight. A single, a triple, a run scored, and an RBI. This one was over early. Oh, beautiful backhanded play by LeMahieu. Rockies may be down by 8, but they're not giving up. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left after 5.5. With a blessed third base dugout. The Dodgers riding high. Take a look at the Dodgers calendar, brought to you by 76. Back with you tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific. First pitch at 1:10. Dan Herron, Jorge De La Rosa. On Sunday, Josh Beckett and Johan Flunde. And on Tuesday in Detroit, we'll be on at 4. 10 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. Then the Dodgers fly home. A 4-game series back at Dodger Stadium with the Padres, and then the All-Star break. Pitching dominance. Well, Kershaw has now gone 33 straight without giving up a run. Tonight, no runs, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts, and a walk. And Chad Bettis. Things are going so bad for the Rockies. Trailing 8-0. Bettis, the relief pitcher. Go back for yourself. And that's what he's going to do. 2 balls and no strikes. From last night with Greinke and tonight with Kershaw, the 2 pitchers have gone 13 innings, and they have exceeded 15 pitches in an inning twice. And that was Greinke last night.
And not only dominant, but efficient. And both of them have really concentrated on first pitch strikes and attacking hitters.
7 strikeouts and a walk for Kershaw tonight. Wouldn't you know it, he falls behind 3-1 to the opposing pitcher.
Clayton started the quest of attacking hitters and throwing first pitch strikes, of course, in the beginning of his career, but really focused on it when he came back from his injury and he knew he was under the watchful eye and a tight pitch count, and you really saw the intensity of what he was trying to do on every first pitch. He was going to pour it in there.
1 hop to Gordon. Pretty well hit. 1 out.
Zach Greinke's quest of attacking and really going after hitters early in the count, first pitch strikes, came after an outing against these Rockies where he went 6 innings through 117 pitches, but the 117 only got him 6 innings, and he's like, I need to take, if I'm going to throw 117 pitches, I've got to get deeper into games. And since that outing, his last 3 outings or so, he has really gone after using a larger part of the plate early in the count. See Clayton's string right there of pitch counts, and that is exceptional. Really, the par for a big league pitcher would be somewhere around 15 pitches an inning, and Clayton's under that in every inning.
Miranda flips it across a diamond like he's scaling a playing card.
You can just watch Anna just take ground balls all day and just hit the left to the right at him, and it just makes it look so easy. Just like the guy on the hill right now.
Yeah, talking about doing it easy, Nomar, you know, we have that kind of slang of how we grade players. A ball, double A, triple A, 4A, big leagues, and
then there's the 5A. There's the next level, and that's what Clayton Kershaw is. He's a 5A player.
4A is the guy that's kind of in that elevator between AAA and the big leagues.
Yeah, and then there's that 4A's where the guy's just been successful in AAA, but he just can't quite figure it out in the big league level. But down there, he just dominates in AAA, so he's that 4A player. And then there's guys who...
How many guys are at the 5A level at the big leagues?
Not many. Might be able to make just a team out of him.
So Tulowitzki?
I consider Tulowitzki a 5A player, yes. The guys that go out and the way they constantly try to better themselves, thinking that there's another level past the big leagues.
Exactly. It's not always even about production. It's about the way they go about their business at the big league level and the consistent production.
Exactly.
Well, here comes strikeout number 8 to be completed by Ellis, throwing to Gonzalez, and another 1-2-3 inning for Clayton Kershaw. It's 5A against 4A tonight. And we'll head to the 7th. Uribe to lead off the 7th, and if you've been waiting for the Arco top-tier play, wait no longer. Uribe, terrific play. Robbing Arenado back in the 4th inning. Arenado, of course, the Gold Glove winner in the National League last year, saying, how could that be? Spectacular play turned in by Uribe, who is 1 for 3 tonight. The Dodgers, 8 runs and 14 hits. Every Dodger's got a base hit. Gordon has 3 of them. Ethier's got a couple. We're talking about 5A players, 4A players. And there's a fella Right about this week, named Mike Hessman. Now, again, we were talking about last night whether it's a good thing to be the MVP on the worst team in baseball history or not. Mike Hessman is the all-time International League home run hitting champion. I got some good news and got some bad news. He has hit in his minor league career over 400 home runs. At AAA, he's hit 259. Congratulations. Here's a rowboat and one oar.
Isn't that from Bull Durham?
Yeah, he's
Crash Davis.
That's exactly
like,
right.
Kind of a dubious honor.
Yeah.
Who sent that? Who sent that article out? Did
it's all
Andy Savoy send that in and let you know that he broke the record?
It was, as they say in all the papers. You just had to look real hard for it. So congratulations to Mike Hessman, who has a career batting average of 230-something, 240-something, and a ton of home runs and a mention on a Dodger broadcaster. Arenado takes care of Uribe, 1 out.
I bet you he is a big fan of the pass the hat after a home run at the minor league level that they do sometimes in some ballparks. And that is an amazing amount of money when it is done, when you hit a home run on July 4th. You get some of your biggest crowds at the minor league level. I can remember playing against the El Paso Diablos in El Paso, Texas, and against Tom Brunansky.
Bruno.
Hit home run on July 4th game, and we even wanted to find out how much did you get? How much did you get when they passed the hat? And it was over $1,000.
Really?
Yeah, it was like way more than we even got paid in our paychecks.
Yeah. Well, that's how the tradition started, right?
Yeah,
they do that to help them because
the salaries were so low. The guys were just surviving down there in the minors. The fans would help out.
Ellis whacks one to left center field. That one's going to roll to the wall, and Ellis will arrive with a stand-up double. AJ's third hit of the night.
I never played in a place where they did that, and I always wish I had to see it. And
he worked a million years ago in the 50s and the 60s in Greenwich Village in the coffee houses. That's how the folk singers made their money. They got up there in front of a microphone and sat on a stool and they played and they passed a cigar box around, and that was their night's work. Not one of them could hit a curveball. Well, here's Kershaw batting for himself. Why not? He's 1 for 3 and an RBI. Dodgers 8 runs and 15 hits. Kershaw to this point, 34 consecutive shutout innings, 7 strikeouts tonight, 1 walk, and he has thrown as many as 14 pitches an inning twice. And he's got his second hit of the night. D. Gordon, the line score, box score will show you tomorrow. He was 3 for 3. Actually 3 for 4 to be precise. This one traveled 12 feet. This one traveled 12 feet. And this one traveled about the same. Even he's smiling. That's been one of those nights where everything's gone right for the Dodgers and everything has gone wrong for the Rockies. And that one's looped down the left field line, but foul.
He hit it too far.
He got too much wood. So Kershaw's got 2 hits. Ethier's got 2. Van Slyke has 2. Gonzalez has 1. Gordon has 3. And the 3 hits has lifted D's batting average to 300.
You see Morneau's behind Clayton, and Arenado is back, not playing the bunt with D. So if you're a roller derby fan, Colorado has called off the jam. And they're not going to play the full-fledged defense, and they're going to say, you guys have pretty much won this one. We don't expect you to be stealing, and we don't expect D to be bunting for hits with an 8-0 game.
The Bay Area Bombers. 2-2 to Gordon. And I was going to say, the Dodgers have been playing with house money all night, knowing that the Padres shut out Kane and the Giants down there 2-0.
And this will be their largest lead in first place.
One whole game and a half.
Interesting to call off the jam in this ballpark, but it's a little different with Clayton Kershaw on the mound throwing the way he is.
I think that's one of the biggest reasons.
Most places 8 runs at sea level is huge, but I'd say here I don't know where it starts to get gray. 6 or 7 maybe. 8 is crossed over the line.
Well, you and I have always talked about that. It also depends. You can feel the momentum, or you can feel the dominance of the opposing pitcher, and that also has an impact.
Yeah.
And the Rockies are playing without their best player, Tulowitzki, and they've long been playing without Cargo.
Well, I think even, Charlie, you were mentioning well, they have the lead. They're pretty much in control. The Dodgers have this one and playing it out. Well, a lot of it is because it's Kershaw on the hill and the way he has been pitching so far.
You can't let him down. He's working harder than everybody else. On 3-2, Gordon strikes out. Hanley Ramirez was hit by a pitch earlier in the game. He came out. We have an update on Hanley from Alana.
Well, guys, he was removed for precautionary reasons after being hit by that pitch. No x-rays are planned, so they're not too concerned about Hanley Ramirez at this point. Obviously, an 8-0 game, and they took him out just to make sure that he was okay. But he has been banged up all season long, as you guys well know.
And just another body part on ice. Yasiel Puig.
Well, that's a really good sign, because the fact that they're not even going to get an x-ray, and usually they have x-ray machines at times at ballparks, and just to have a look, and as we mentioned with a hand, there's so many little bones in there that could possibly break, and if they feel that confident, that's a really good sign.
1 ball and 1 strike. Ramirez hit by a pitch in the 5th inning. That's the way things have gone for Ramirez this year.
I'm glad that helmet didn't bounce back up at him. That can
the way things have gone. Yeah. Ellis at third. Kershaw is at first. And Puig takes a strike.
Yasiel's look at the umpire. Didn't like that call at all. And sometimes some of those calls often are because of the score. And I think Yasiel might have to realize that the zone gets expanded just a little bit, and one team is winning by so much.
Corey Blazer is the home plate umpire in his 3rd big league season. He's from Colorado, so maybe he wants to go home. Went to Colorado State. Come on, it's July 4th. Swing the bat. It's 8-0. Down the right field line, and Morneau just can't reach it. A lot of foul territory in this ballpark. That would have been well into the stands at Dodger Stadium. Arabarena's on deck. Dodgers with 3 in the 1st, 5 in the 5th, and cruising right along. Three balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. And Kershaw will be off and running with the pitch. There he goes. The ground ball to third. Arenado throws out Puig, and that will end the inning. This, of course, is the 4th of July. And throughout baseball parks everywhere in our national pastime, God Bless America is going to be played, and special attention being paid to on the birthday of the United States of America. Now we're going to pass it on to the public address announcer here at Coors Field, Reed Saunders.
To host and honor those who sacrifice on behalf of us all. With us on the field tonight is Staff Sergeant Iris Morales. Staff Sergeant Morales joined the Air Force Reserve in 2009. She currently serves in the Air Reserve Personnel Center, which oversees a 900,000 plus population of active, reserve, and retired military personnel. She was awarded the Air Reserve Command Airman of the Year 2012, Force Support Reserve Component Airman of the Year 2012, and the Aurora Chambers of Commerce Military Person of the Year for 2014. Staff Sergeant Morales will be taking her oath in August to be commissioned as an officer of the Air Force Reserve Medical Service Corps. Fans, please give a warm Coors Field heroes welcome to Staff Sergeant Iris Morales and all of our nation's brave men and women, as well as the families of our heroes. We thank you for your sacrifice and service to our great nation. Fans, please rise as we honor our great country by the performance of God Bless America. Performing God Bless America tonight, representing the Colorado National Guard's 101st Army Band, is Staff Sergeant Sean Heading. Please welcome Staff Sergeant Heading and join him by singing along to God Bless America.
As we go to the other half of the seventh inning stretch. And the story now, the sun setting, turns to Clayton Kershaw. He's got a shutout through 34 consecutive innings of scoreless baseball. Tonight he has struck out 8 And he has walked one. First pitch off the bat of Arenado is fouled off to the right, and it's 0-1. So Kershaw on the year, including tonight, is at 115 strikeouts and 12 walks. And his ERA now down to 1.90. And a foul just beneath us.
If you're going to design a video game pitcher and your friends in the neighborhood that you play against are going to say, well, that's unfair. You can't design somebody like that. You just say, well, I'm just going to point right here at Clayton Kershaw's numbers. This is my guy.
He's still got some territory to catch up to you, Oral, but he's one behind Fernando. He has just passed Koufax. Koufax had 33 consecutive shutout innings in 1963.
But I visited the planet that he's on.
How's the weather?
He's got 2 Cy Youngs in his pocket. He's got a second place in a Cy Young. He's got 3 consecutive ERA titles. And he's got a chance to duplicate all those feats this year again. He's got a chance at the 4th ERA title. He's got a chance at a 3rd Cy Young. He's got a chance at the scoreless streak that he's on to be the all-time greatest. So this is the best pitcher I've ever seen.
And that says a lot. It really does.
The consistency and the dominance is just unbelievable. He's pitching in a ballpark tonight that pitchers fear, that they would invent injuries to say, I just can't go. We talked about El Paso. That was a terrible place in the minor leagues to pitch, and people used to come up with El Paso elbow. I'm just aching. I don't think I can make a start.
Uribe in foul territory. Morneau's retired. By the way, the Arenado base hit, if you're just joining us, this is the second one given up by Kershaw tonight.
This is the ballpark that just pitchers not only fear, but that he's also facing a lineup that leads the National League in a lot of offensive categories. So
all of them,
even though they're struggling, right? Even though how about this? Even though the Rockies are struggling right now to win games, and with the June they had, where they went 8-20 in June, they still led the major leagues in hits in June.
Batting average, hits, runs, home runs, and on base percentage. And here's Arabarena.
And most of their numbers are accumulated at home. They're not that good a team on the road offensively.
Well, you talk about a Rocky Mountain elbow, a Coors Field elbow, and then you've got Kershaw bellyaches. I don't think I can go to the post today, huh? Skip. A little upset stomach. Michael McHenry. With 2 out, McHenry is 0 for 2. He's 0 for 3. Uribe to Gordon, and that's that. Arenado, a leadoff single, will go to the 8th on 9 pitches. Kershaw's just getting better. It could not be a more pleasant night in Mile High Country for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Kershaw's got a 2-hitter through 7, has extended his scoreless streak to 35 innings. Ryan Wheeler takes over at first base. Matt Belisle is the new pitcher for the Rockies. Dodgers scored 3 in the first, and the Rockies have been in the Dodgers' rearview mirror ever since. Belisle making his 38th appearance of the year. I must confess to you guys, watching Kershaw now and 38 consecutive scoreless innings, and I can only imagine what's going on in the pit of your belly, Oral, is kind of like watching a slow motion no-hitter evolve. Now it's 35 consecutive innings of scoreless baseball. He's given up 2 hits tonight. We saw him come within 1 mistake of a perfect game against the Rockies back at Dodger Stadium. And at this point, the Rockies had 1 runner in scoring position tonight.
Is a very, very dominant performance and a consistent performance as he continues to just stay on this roll.
Belisle, the new pitcher, Arabarena's second at bat, and he swings and misses.
Or when you're on that streak, did you know the number every time it was going, or was there a certain number that you realized, or was it the media that was bringing the number up to you all the time? So how did you?
It's the media. The media brings it up in the questions, and that's where you just know that, it narrowed down for me is I can throw 1 more sinker low and away, or I can throw 1 more curveball in the dirt when I get ahead at the count. And so I think with Clayton, he is so focused, and it's 1 pitch at a time. And, just thinking about this particular outing tonight, he has made the rare mistake. I'm trying to think of a mistake, and yes, has he given up a couple hits? Yes. Have some balls been hit hard at a couple times? Yes. But I don't always say, oh, they're glaring mistakes. It was, an 0-1 fastball that was on the outer half. But it was still, if the ball's taken, it's a nice solid pitch. It's not like, oh, that was terrible. It was right down the middle. Or was there a hanging curveball that should have been hit? No. Was there a slider he left over the middle of the plate? No. He's making very high level pitches at a very consistent rate.
Well, he'll say, I made a mistake when they got the hit, because he believes that. He's like, I shouldn't have given up a hit. But right. I hear what I hear what you're saying.
There has been no good fortune about this outing.
Right.
Arabarena takes call strike 3. First out of the 8th. And you had a unique set of circumstances in that you were pursuing and then eventually overtaking the record of another Dodger, Don Drysdale. So it was an in-house episode as well.
Yeah, it was an awful lot of fun to have Don around and to chat with him, and he taught me an awful lot, and God rest his soul, what a very classy man's man he was.
So as you are going, inning 56, 57, fans are going crazy. Ground ball up the middle. Look at the backhanded play by LeMahieu, and Gonzalez beats out an infield.
And that's news for Adrian when he gets an infield.
Yeah, that one, you know what, Adrian, that's one that you could smell as a hitter, and you're like, yeah, he's blowing it up going, he wanted that one. Right out of he was going, okay, this is going to be close, and he's going, listen, this has a chance. I got to get down there.
All right, you want to put a shift on me? Go ahead. I'll show you.
He's beat it twice tonight.
So now as you're pursuing, and I hope in a couple of weeks we can.
Oh, that'd be amazing if we can do it.
And deal with this in greater detail, but with 8 runs and 17 hits on one side of the scoreboard, no runs and 2 on the other, we have the luxury of talking about this a little bit. Inning 56. Inning 57. The crowd is going crazy. I guess almost like an ensuing no-hitter.
It is.
How do you keep your focus? Do you allow yourself a moment of saying, this is pretty cool?
You actually, you know what? The more important it is and the more noise there is, the easier it is to concentrate. And you actually long for it. I long for the big moment. I long for the World Series outing. I long for the standing ovation. I long for the boos, the chants, because that allows you to almost be alone in the noise. Nomar's shaking his head right here.
No, you're right. I'm not in my head going, you're exactly right. The people always say, well, do you hear the crowd? Do you hear it when you're locked in? And it's like, no, it's just that moment and you drown it out. Sometimes you go, there was a crowd? It's just that noise that you're just so focused and locked in.
It's drowned it out, or it's not there, but it also is there at the same time.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just like that broadcasting a big game when every moment is micro to the nth degree. The crowd is going crazy. The adrenaline is just pouring through, and you guys are right in the middle of the battle. We're on the outskirts watching it, and you hear it, yet you don't, but it's just part of the fabric.
And my rule of thumb as a pitcher, Nomar, you might have a different view as a hitter, but my rule of thumb as a pitcher was to allow the energy to hit me as long as I could take it to a place that was making me better. Make me better concentrating, make me stronger, give me rhythm, give me focus. If I felt like the energy was taking me to a place where it was coming out of my game, that's when I step off, take a breather, look out to center field, put this game in perspective a little bit, rub the ball up, and now get back on the mound again.
Van Slyke is down. There's 2 out. And Ethier coming up.
And I always thought that personal inventory, that reflection of what is this doing to me right this second, was real important.
And because there's so much emotion that you're going through that you have to keep in check and in control. And there are times where you're nervous, your anxiety, and then when you hear the crowd, that level when you talk about the noise is not there, but it is there, that it almost can control that anxiety and puts you in the level you want to be, or that moment or that focus. Like, you're right. I feel it with the crowd if you're at home. Or I used to also feel it when I was on the other end and I hear the boos at you, and I was like, that's right, boo. I wanted to either show you, or I know you're booing me because I've been doing it. And so it can work both ways to get you where you need to be.
Those Yankee-Red Sox wars was what I'm immediately flashing back on. You were playing in them. I was broadcasting them. And the crowds were crazy, whether it was in New York or Boston. And you were elevated to another level. And I can only imagine, Oral, in your case, going after this streak. But it's all focused on you. And in the case of Nomar, in a given at-bat, but in pursuing a record that still stands, it's like, whoa.
The visiting crowd, they had no idea they were charging me up when they were airing me out or teasing me about my name or their derogatory comments. They had no idea that was driving me to a higher level. And I would imagine them leaving the stadium, walking up the tunnels, going, wow, that Hershiser got us tonight. And on a positive note, with the Dodger Stadium crowd, I would imagine a little boy turning to his dad and saying, Oral did well tonight. And it just, you know the stimuluses are coming. It's our responsibility as athletes to know what to do with them. The negative is coming. The errors behind me are coming. What am I going to do with them? It's my responsibility.
All you can control is what you can control.
Exactly.
The fans, the media, you have no control over it.
I did not allow my teammates or myself to complain about things that were going on around us. It was like, okay, that is, what are we going to do about it?
Right. Just like Boston.
Well, I remember stepping in the box when I got back to Yankee Stadium, and I was with Oakland, and I remember stepping in the box, and I was waiting, and I was hoping, and they did. When they announced my name, they booed me, and I was like, "Yeah, they haven't forgotten.
I'm home."
I wanted to hear it so bad.
But those were boos out of respect.
Well, yeah, but there's also
when you were in Boston, it was okay. But now you would come back, and it was.
Well, the Boston people, I'm trying to remember if I ever got booed.
No, I'm talking about when you went to Yankee Stadium, they booed because you were a Red Sox.
Oh, right.
They booed you when you came back as a boo of respect.
Well, either way, they still you would get it, you would hear it, but you would, like Oral touched on, you wanted to utilize it the right way to get you to where you need to be. I'm just thinking, I go, Oral, they made fun of your name.
Oh yeah,
that one got me. I was like, really?
The players that are playing and active right now, they have to put their suit of armor on, and we don't hear we're gone. We're a step away from it, and we can talk to the fans and tell them the fans make an impact. The sellout crowd makes an impact. Positive energy coming from the stands makes an impact. Negative energy, it can make an impact on a weaker, mentally, weak person out there on the opposing team. But these guys that are out there right now, they're not going to admit it. Not at the level we're going to admit it. And they will admit it someday when they leave the game.
When they're long retired.
Like they have to have their armor on a daily basis because it takes so much to play this game on a daily basis.
Ethier bloops a base hit into right, and Gonzalez will go to third. He was off and running with the full count and 2 out. So Ethier with his third hit of the night.
That's what we love about Yasiel Puig and different players that wear their emotions on their sleeve because we get to see the whole story.
First and third, 2 out. Yes, it's been a rout. Uribe is 1 for 4. Of course, he had the game-winning hit last night. Had 3 hits last night. The only reason this sold-out crowd is still here is they got a big fireworks show after the game. The Dodgers brought not only their own fireworks tonight, their own bubble machine. Dodgers 18 hit performance, the most this season. Arenado will throw out Uribe for the second time in as many at-bats. No runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers after 7.5. Kershaw has a hefty 8-0 lead. When the Dodgers host the Padres, the Dodgers will commemorate Roy Campanella night. First 50,000 fans in attendance will take home a Pee Wee Reese Roy Campanella bobblehead, remembering back to the old Coliseum. Compliments of United Healthcare. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. So here's Kershaw. 35 consecutive innings of shutout baseball. And tonight, he has struck out 8. He has walked 1 and given up 2 base hits. Working on his way toward Pitcher of the Month in July. After going 6-0 in June. He's gotten them every which way but Sunday.
His June was historic. 6-0, sub-1 ERA.
0.82. Struck out 61 and walked 4 last month. Well, tonight he has struck out 8 and walked 1. So he's on a pace.
strike out a lot and walk few. It's unbelievable.
And his ERA up to the minute is 188.
Coming off a year that, if you're going to project the year, the 183 last year. Now he's at 188. You would expect after a 183 year, you'd probably take a step back. People just don't have sub-2 ERAs in the big leagues.
Not anymore. Or at any time. I mean, it's just.
It's a lot of fun to watch. And it's not easy what he's doing. You're going out to that mound every inning with different energy level. Something different happened. How long you had to wait. You got 8 warm-up pitches. Sometimes you get a guy on. They've had 2 on tonight, and you've given different looks to the guy at first. So you're learning to throw strikes and throw your breaking ball down with a slide step. You're going to do it with a full leg kick. You're going to do it with a step off. You got. It's not as simple as he's making it look.
Let's put it into some perspective, which is kind of difficult these days. The National League earned run average for every pitcher is 364. His ERA is about half that. Into center field, and Ethier is there. .35 1/3. Here's LeMahieu, who is 1 for 2. He has half the Rocky hits. Arenado's got the other half. So Kershaw's earned run average is half the league average.
How many innings pitched does he have now?
Well, he came in with 79 and now add another 7. That's 86 1/3.
86 1/3, and the Dodgers have played 88 games.
We'll track it down.
89th game tonight. So he won't show up on the leaderboard of all the pitchers until his innings total crosses the Dodgers game total. But we're pretty much guaranteed if he stays healthy, he's going to get 162 innings.
So in 86 2/3 innings, he's got 115 strikeouts. Strasburg at the moment leads the league with 131, Cueto 130, and Kershaw's about 5 starts behind them.
This will be his 10th victory in 13 starts, and the league leaders have 18 starts because he missed him with that back injury.
Arboreno.
Oh my gosh.
Folks, that's Nomar with that chuckle. That's a chuckle of admiration. Arizbel Arboreno. Wow. Great night for the Dodgers tonight. No getting around that. 8-0. We will go to the 9th. This is a nice way to end the inning, isn't it? Oh. 18 hits, a season high. Kershaw, 36 consecutive innings of scoreless baseball. Tonight he has struck out 8 and walked 1. And ESPN is reporting a blockbuster trade. The Cubs, according to ESPN, have sent Jeff Samardzija and Jason Hamill to Oakland for Dan Straley and a couple of youngsters, Addison Russell, Billy McKinney, and a player to be named later. Wow. Oakland picks up 2 starters. That's quite a deal for the Athletics. A.J. Ellis leading off the 9th. Needless to say, the mood is carefree in the Dodger dugout tonight. Oakland with a record of 52-33 has just improved themselves quite a bit. What do you think?
I think that's a great pickup for Oakland.
Yeah, those pitchers have not been getting many runs with the Chicago Cubs. They're going to get some support in Oakland, and Oakland A's have done a pretty good job of figuring out a way to get into the playoffs. They're trying to find a way maybe to build a team that'll go a little bit past round 1.
So they go all in, getting Samardzija and Hamill. That's what happens when you're leading 8-0.
Pretty soon we're going to have shots to the dugout and have to put a disclaimer up about do not do this at home.
These are trained professionals. Do not do this at home. Now they don't put that in their sunflower suits.
I don't know what he's got there. If that's the pre-tape stickum stuff that they spray on their wrists or their ankles before they go to taping them. And he's got some kind of spray.
It looks like Uribe's got a slice of pizza. Well, it's been quite a night for the Dodgers. In front of 48,815. Second consecutive sellout. Rojas is the batter, and even Kershaw is allowing himself to smile a little bit. I don't remember the last time I saw Clayton with a ear-to-ear grin in the middle of a game he's been pitching. Usually you see him on the bench. He's got a half a dozen towels around the left arm.
And that's because he's not coming out that next inning.
He's done.
He's done. Rojas is pinch hitting for him, so that's his night is done.
There is no way he would be up smiling like that if he was still in the game.
Nope.
He has taken off the armor.
It's like the night after graduation. You know? Here's Jamie Wright. So the Dodgers have taken their act on the road where they have a better record than anybody else now in Major League Baseball. They're about to go 28-16 away from Dodger Stadium. Rojas, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Puig is like everybody's kid brother. And Rojas rolls it fast.
Kid brother who's huge.
Yeah. I didn't say little brother. Right. I said kid brother.
Yeah.
You better not fight me. My younger brother will get you.
Yeah.
So Oakland won today, so they now have 53 victories. Milwaukee lost. They're stuck on 51, and the Dodgers are about to win their 50th.
Against 39 losses. And they will have won by the end of the night 15 of their last 21.
And everything that they have been through to this point in the season and up until the All-Star break, when some of them will get to go to Minnesota, they could end up with the best record in baseball.
Well, they began the year 2-0 in Australia, then 15-12 March and April. May, adrift at 15-15. June, they turned it around, 18-10. And they're about to even the score in July at 2-2. Rex Brothers is the new pitcher for the Rockies. Kershaw's night, pretty darn good. 2 hits and a walk. And 8 more strikeouts. And 36 consecutive scoreless innings. Kershaw will get one more start before the All-Star game. D. Gordon's #1 cheerleader, Sean Figgins, with his sandwich board.
He should try and get a hit right here that's farther than 15 feet.
Why spoil his success? He's got 3 hits tonight. His 3 hits all down the third base line. Maybe 60 feet.
Maybe. The bunt might be the farthest one.
The hardest hit.
Yeah.
He's at 299 now. Dodgers with 3 in the first. Gordon began the game with a bunt base hit. Puig hit a 435-foot home run to get a Dodgers off to a 2-0 lead. Ramirez would double, and after 2 out, Ethier would triple home Ramirez. So it was 3-0 after 1 against Jair Jurgens, who made 2 major league appearances last year in Baltimore. His first big league start this year, just having been acquired from Cincinnati, a minor league deal. Jurgens was done after 4 2/3, 8 runs and 12 hits. There's not a whole lot that Walt Weiss can do. So back-to-back walks, and here is Puig, who has put the spray can down long enough to pick up a bat. Puig denied a home run in 5 at-bats. Takes a strike, 0-1. On 0-1, Puig with a high fly ball to left center field. Stubbs gives way to Blackman, and that's the second out. Puig in the first inning, that 435-foot home run. Listen to it. You didn't even have to watch the ball off the bat. All you had to do is listen to it. So there's 2 out. And runners at first and second. And Arborena with a base hit into center field. Rounding third and coming in to score is Rojas. The Dodgers now have a 9-0 lead. Arizbel Arborena with his second big league RBI. Hanley Ramirez came out of the game after having been hit by a pitch in the 5th inning. They didn't take any x-rays. They just said, let's take the rest of the night off with an 8-0 lead, now 9-0. So Arborena gets a couple of at-bats, a base hit, an RBI. And Gonzalez takes outside.
Every Dodger has a hit?
Yes, sir. Even the late addition Arborena. And the hits just keep on coming. Gonzalez, he's got 2.
Rojas didn't get a hit, but he got a walk. It's the only one that's appeared in the game that didn't get a hit.
And he was just pinch hitting.
Yep. He reached base, so no time at bat.
And he scored a run.
Yep.
On 2 hops, LeMahieu will throw out Gonzalez, and that'll end the inning. We will go to the bottom half of the 9th inning in what has been an enjoyable cakewalk for the Dodgers. A season-high 19 hits to go with their 9-0 shutout. It was not exactly a hung jury when it came to the Lexus player of the game tonight. Clayton Kershaw. No runs, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 93 pitches, 67 strikes. All was said and done, 36 consecutive scoreless innings for Clayton Edward Kershaw, who is about to go 10-2. It was as dominating a performance really as his no-hitter, his perfect game.
That's why he got player of the game, for just that. That's all. Because I was thinking because he also got 2 hits and an RBI. I'm just throwing that out there. So.
Well, Rojas was up for consideration. He pinch hit and walked.
Got on.
But,
yeah.
And Jamie Wright's going to finish it up. Meanwhile, the 19 hits turned in is Wright, who originally came up with the Rockies. 19 hits by the Dodgers, the most since 2011. Had 23 against the Pirates late 3 years ago. One walk, 8 strikeouts. And in no inning tonight did Kershaw throw more than 15 pitches.
It's like, what's been the most impressive thing in this outing? I mean, it's been quite impressive, just and fun to watch Clayton.
Right now, few athletes can, I guess, comprehend the extent to which Kershaw is so tunnel visioned into what he is doing. And, oh, by the way, we add another game to that stat of 2 walks or fewer, 38 straight for Dodger starters. They have combined to throw 247 1/3 innings with 235 strikeouts and 38 walks. Better than a 6-to-1 ratio. The starters, who are about to improve their collective record to 44-23. The 5-man electrical band. Three and 2 to Charlie Blackmon, who is leading off in the bottom of the 9th. Crowd of better than 48,000. Second consecutive sellout. Dodgers brought their own fireworks show. And the folks, of course, will stay around for the pyrotechnics. And the Dodgers will head out in a hurry, get back to the hotel or get a bite to eat or whatever they may do. Pick it up where they left off tomorrow, and we'll be on the air 1 o'clock, 1:10 first pitch LA time. Dan Herron and Jorge De La Rosa. Wright now has thrown 7 pitches to Blackmon. Kershaw threw 93 over 8 innings.
I think there's a lot of people at home on Thursday that might want to buy some tickets to watch Clayton pitch. It's getting to be pretty special. You're not going to want to miss those games when he pitched Thursday against the Padres.
4-game series between the Padres and Dodgers before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So an 8-pitch walk to begin the 9th inning. Kershaw never threw as many as 7 pitches to any batter tonight. Well, comparing Kershaw to anybody these days isn't really fair, but Rutledge chops it foul.
You know, I've had my nose in my computer here for a little bit, and Omar, you know this guy really well. I was looking at the years from 97 to 2003 of Pedro Martinez.
Yes. Pretty special.
Yeah, 97, he goes 17-8 with a 1.9. Then he slacks off and goes 19 and what's he go here? He goes 19-7 with a 2.89. Then he goes 23-4 with a 2.07. Then he goes 18-6 with a 1.74. In 2001, he must have got hurt a little bit. He was 7-3 with a 2.39. And then 2002, 20-4 with a 2.26. And 2003, 14-4 with a 2.22. That's the kind of run Clayton's on right now.
And I was asked that question before, like, who's the best pitcher you've ever seen? And I said, for me, it was Pedro Martinez.
Right.
Just as you rattle off all those numbers, I had the luxury of playing behind him. And I would tell people, and Clayton does this as well, is when Pedro was on the hill and I'm playing shortstop behind him and he's striking out so many batters and he's doing his thing, you become a fan yourself out there. And oftentimes where he's got a guy with 2 strikes and they put it in play, you go, oh, they put it in play, and I would say, oh, I have to go make that play. Ball's hit to me. You, for a second, you forget because you get caught up in how amazing he's pitching.
Stan Conte's coming out. Arborena. Got something in his eye. Last night, it was Gordon who got something in his eye. Thank you. Whatever it is, it's out.
Interesting story about Pedro. When he got sent down to the minor leagues coming out of the spring training with the Dodgers, he was definitely a big leaguer, but he had options. He didn't make the team because he had options, not because he didn't make it, ability-wise. So you get called into the office of Tommy Lasorda's office before you get sent down, and Tommy takes you in there and he sends you down. And then as you're in there in spring training in Dodgertown, they would pack your bag. So when you came out, you just pick up your bag and walk over to the minor league side. Saw him packing Pedro's bag, and I signed a ball to Pedro. From one big leaguer to another, you will be here someday and you will be really good. And I put it at the bottom of his bag, and he didn't open it up until he got the AAA.
Well, the Dodgers win 9-0, and it was a rout from the first inning. 3 runs in the first, including a 2-run home run by Yasiel Puig, a 3-run home run for Scott Van Slyke. The Dodgers with the most hits since 2011. 9-0 over the Rockies. The Dodgers now at their largest lead, small as it is, a 1.5 over the Giants for first place in the National League West. The Dodgers now at 50-39, and they have won 15 of their last 21. So it was a very good night indeed on this, the 4th of July. We'll be back with you again tomorrow, long about 1 o'clock. For Oral Hershiser, Omar Garcia-Parra, Alana Rizzo, Charlie Steiner, and our entire Sportsnet LA crew, good night. Happy birthday, America, and we'll see you again tomorrow.